We're back with more Angels for Scaly Wings. We're gonna try our hardest to get Remy's good ending. We have an expert in chat. I have a guide up on my left. I'm gonna fuck it up, no doubt, and have everyone shout at me. But we're gonna try. That is what we're gonna do for the rest of the stream, I think. Probably, because I'm gonna fail. Let's face it, I'm gonna fail. Right, start. Brent! The rugby. Sean was watching the rugby. Oh shit, I've already failed. Right, time to finish the stream. Everyone go home. Scotland beating England isn't exactly... You can't see the game. Oh. Why has that happened? Let me just refresh the game capture. I mean, is it surprising? Italy doesn't play rugby. Why they continue with the Six Nations, I do not know. Because they do not play rugby. They are not a rugby country. They're not really a football country anymore either. Oh, I failed before I start most of the time. Yes, I want to skip ahead. Alright. Meet with Remy. It's a bastard country. Right. Do I have to skip them, or do I have to go through them still? Stop sucking pasta. You can skip. Right. Skipping. Don't touch my pizza. Anyways, thanks for your help. If there was any way I can repay you, just let me know. That's fine with me. You've got my number, so call me about it when you have the time. I will. Have a nice evening. You too. It allows you to skip only when you've done everything correctly. Nice. I'm guessing I have to do a dine stuff. Because I've got to be on a second date with her. So, we'll order some lunch. The game's so smart. So smart. Shouldn't come as a surprise considering you knew I'd deliver for the cafe. Here's your order. Sorry got a little wet, but it should still be okay. Why don't you come in? Thanks, I was just about to ask you if I could stay for a little while. This was actually my last delivery for the day, and I live on the other side of town. Of course, I couldn't let you fly back when it's ugly. This ugly outside. Yeah, skip. As you wish. We got the bad ending for Remy, which I've already got once before. So we're going for the good ending with Remy. But it does mean we have to do Aidine's second date. And we've got a follow Vara, which means I need to go to the store. We're gonna get to see new stuff, but we're skipping everything we've already done, which is good because I'm losing my voice by the sound of it. I'm gonna be raspy. We did get shot. We got shooted. We got shooted bad. Everyone got shot. It was a relief to leave the crime scene, considering all that had happened. When I reached into my pocket to take a look at the list, however, I found something unexpected. It was a small piece of paper with the word Tatsu written on it. How did it get in there? Boop, 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 boop. My early account of the masked person was the only time today someone was close enough to smuggle something into my pocket. I figured if someone like Bryce tried to do something like that, I definitely would have noticed. As for Tatsu, the only related thing I could think of was Tatsu Park, which I'd come across when I went to the police station the other day. Even if that park was a place a mysterious paper referred to, I didn't know if it was actually a good idea to visit. The masked person may have saved me from the falling light fixture, but if it was Resit, it would mean following someone who was also the prime suspect of 2 murders. I also had to consider the list of places Resit had been to: a local grocery store, the production facility we had visited, and a library were the 3 places closest to here. Oh, busy, busy, busy. Also, Sean, if Akbar shows up, we've got to ask him if he's a Scaly. Everyone has to ask him as soon as he shows up. This is the dragon we've got to save, basically. That's Vara. That's Vara. I've ran out of water as well now. Just browsing. Aqua Scaly. Oh yeah, no. The humans shot us. Poor Drakbar got shot. Wait a minute. Skip. The birth control. I think these ones could fit on my arm. I'll suck your nudes. I'm a pure Christian boy. No, you're not. Yep. That is true, fictional. That is true. Could have needed a map to plan something, I suppose, but who knows what you really wanted to do with it. Kind of detail that on its own might not tell us much, but it'll be crucial later on. Too small fictional, the opposite way round. They fall off. There you go. So a true statement. Yeah, we don't need to do the fucking magazine again. Jesus Christ. So fascinating discovery. Oh, this is about the thing. Like, yep. I told everyone you were Scaly, by the way. Just so you know. Oh, it's her again. If you mix up the prescriptions again, then I can't help you. I can't refill this one. Which is about to close, so you'll have to bring the right one tomorrow. Hello, Anna. How can I help you? Actually, I'm just about to close up here, so please make it quick. I'm here on behalf of the police, and I was hoping that you could answer a few questions. I see. Well, I don't mind as long as you make it quick. I have to leave for my other job soon. Vara, what are you still doing here? I already told you. You have to come back tomorrow. Here, have a lolly on the house. I guess she doesn't want it. What's the deal with her? I'm not sure what's up with her lately. This isn't the first time this has happened. One time the doctor forgets to issue a new prescription. Another time she brings me an expired one instead of the new one. She isn't exactly the brightest, but this is unusual even for her. So, what did you want to know? Follower. Actually, excuse me, sorry, but we'll have to do this another time, if you say so. Luckily, she hadn't gotten too far, so I followed her from a distance. Minutes passed as we walked through streets, weaving through an unfamiliar part of town. The young dragon looked small and lonely on the empty road. Before long, we passed the village border, yet she passed on and stepped into the forest. I turned back once to gaze at the village on the far horizon, and in an instant the dragon was gone. I rushed to the spot I'd last seen her and found the entrance to a cave on a hillside. When I peered inside, I saw Vara alongside a much larger orange dragon. The small dragon filled a bowl with a thick fluid and placed it in front of the other. Then she placed her hands on the large dragon's chin. Gently she lifted its huge muzzle and guided it towards the bowl, but when she released it, the dragon's head slumped and fell into the liquid. The bowl tumbled sideways and spilled its contents across the cave floor. Oh. I realized then that other than what Vara had done, the orange dragon hadn't moved at all since I arrived. How did you even find out about this? I could tell something was wrong, so I followed her. I see. Well, good job, Anna. What's going to happen to her now? She'll be sent to the orphanage. The background check determined that she had a father, but the two hadn't seen each other in years. Can't you locate him? We did. Whereas the second victim, the maintenance guy, that was him. I see. How did he even get this far? I don't know, but we'll certainly look into it. Some just fall through the cracks of the system. Being out here on their own probably didn't help. Do many of your people live outside the town like this? Well, some do it on principle, others because they have no other choice. Houses and apartments can be expensive, and it's not unusual for us to use natural environments as our homes. Alright, I think we're done for now. Here for now. Don't forget to stop by the department later. I won't. Game just is sad. Followed. You followed Farah. Well done, Anna. The game said well done to me. I'm a smart ass. The game gave me acknowledgement of my smart assedness. Well done, Anna. Well done, Anna. Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had been slipped under my door while I was gone. Right, this is the portal stuff. Well done, Anna. Well done. Congratulations, you did something. Plus 0.1 IQ. Yeah! I need the game to say I did well so that I know that I did well. The only other thing I need to do is the third day. So, I can go to the police archives. We didn't see the police archives. You guys didn't see the police archives on the last playthrough, so we'll do that. I was on my way to the police station when a voice called out to me. Hey you, I'm talking to you, human. And we don't need to help him. We don't need to help him. We can go to the police archive. We don't need to read this. That can't be helped then. Sorry. Don't worry about it. There'll be someone else along soon, I'm sure. I kind of feel bad. When I arrived at the station, I was met by the police archivist, a dragoness who introduced herself as Calinth. You're in luck, Anna. Bryce compiled all the case files a while ago. Ever since you came to our world, he seems to be a lot more interested in these human mysteries. I wonder if it has something to do with you. Hey, Pongus! How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Anyway, you can find all the files here. I'll leave the rest to you. Study the blueprint to the underground building near the portal. The blueprint of the building caught my attention. Apparently, it had been found during the curiosity investigation within the building itself. At first glance, nothing about it stood out to me, but the more I studied it, the more the facts revealed themselves. Both of its entrances were freed and accessible by the people in charge. One was through a tunnel in the vicinity of the portal, and the other through a dig that cut through the town's sewer system. Bryce had scrolled a note near the second entry. It simply said, Axis v Hatch. Button, counterclockwise. Furthermore, the data in the corner of the blueprint listed the structure as an independent living and research unit, dated to the year 2047. Most interestingly, I recognized the name of the company that was listed. They were a well-established super company before our world's collapse, known for their advances in scientific fields and otherwise through the use of legal loopholes and grey markets. Thank you for gifting that sub to Ponga, Sean. You're well on your way to be the top sub donate, or gift subber even. Just another over 10 to go. They were very successful at what they did. The facility subverted laws and ethical issues by being in areas where such concerns were non-existent, or could be made non-existent by paying off the right individuals. Naturally, the products and applications of their research was usually fair game to be used and sold worldwide. They were only one of the companies involved in championing the teleportation technology that was about to take off on a grand scale before the solar flare changed everything. Of course, there were public worries regarding the untested long-term consequences of utilizing black holes and such technology. It was outlawed in certain countries due to these concerns, but lobbies in the private sector drove many of them to accept the tech in light of the boundless advantages offered. They were also big in medical, security and weaponry fields. Their vast knowledge and close cooperation of their individual departments enabled them to make many breakthroughs. It seems like they could do anything they set out to do. The nanomachines that become commonplace before the fall were of course also their product. No one was surprised that the tech failed under the radiation of the ion storm. Had the company behind it been more concerned about safety rather than profits, perhaps fewer lives would have been lost. Even though they weren't perfect, nanomachines had still increased the quality of life for many people. It was a new way of treating medical conditions, some of which had been previously untreatable. They were also widely used for their performance-enhancing properties, for both day-to-day activities and to assist with dangerous jobs. Beyond that, the company had even branched into genetic engineering. Human hereditary diseases were becoming a thing of the past as they developed techniques to alter human life to its core. Ultimately, they had a hand in influencing every area of life on a global scale. It was unknown who was truly calling the shots, as their network of companies and names was vast. It was only one of the many ways to ensure their continued existence and avoid liability. Where they had been outlawed or their operations shut down, new companies with suspiciously similar products appeared practically overnight. However, no matter how big their empire was and how well they skirted the lines, they ultimately collapsed just like the rest of the world. That being said, how did this building make its way into the Dragon's world? As I pondered this, Adine's request came to mind. I used Bryce's machine to make a copy of the map for her. Bryce probably wouldn't approve of me giving evidence to civilians, but I was sure he would never even realise it. Acquired a map. Yeah, go on. According to the report, the investigation of the building was halted due to the acute danger of its collapse and the damage that the surrounding water could cause. Since the building had unknown historical and technological value, there was a plan in place to drain the water pockets. The legal permissions had not yet gone through, however, and it would take some time for the equipment to arrive. For now, the building was stable as long as it remained undisturbed, but for obvious reasons, no one was allowed to enter. There were patrols guarding it night and day. Oh, look at the time. I better wrap it up here. Phew, it's getting late. I better head to the police station now. Do I have everything? I don't think I did anything, did I? Did I? Flawless run. Look at this cute emo. It's Ray Ray. Oh yeah, you went to see her anniversary stream last night, I'm guessing. Or the night before. Was it last night? I was asleep. I woke up like really early yesterday. Or this morning. Not yesterday, this morning. You know, because I'm trying to like get up a little bit before, you know, I have to. So that I'm not like tired when I'm running out of the door late. And, but I ended up just lying in bed watching VODs. If you know who. Watching VODs. What date is this? Second. I'm guessing, as you said, because it's letting me skip it, that's going to be okay. That I must have done it for the good ending. I must have asked him about if he wanted children. I don't even watch VODs anymore. I spend my life watching VODs. Yep. Oh, there you go. See, we've got a genius in chat. I'm watching this VOD as it's recording. And everyone on YouTube that watches this VOD from now until the end of time will know that you were here, Fictional. But Fictional already said earlier today that I'm not her favourite streamer anymore and that she's abandoning me for someone else. So, you know, that's also now on this VOD forevermore. Yes, it's not exactly the same thing, but I heard that the orphanage is always looking for more volunteers. You could help take care of those children. Is that so? Yeah, the orphanage is notoriously understaffed. The children don't really have anyone else, so each volunteer is a godsend. Dragon blush is very cute. Losing both parents at such a young age must be horrible. I can't even imagine what that must be like. You should talk to Ideen about volunteering. She knows a lot more about it than I do. Ideen? I don't want to talk to her. Why not? She used to be my friend. Well, she was more Amelia's friend than mine. Why can't you talk to her? I don't know. I don't want to face her. Whenever I see her, it's another reminder of what I lost. Besides, I don't think she wants to talk to me either. I think if you wanted to volunteer, she'd gladly accept the help. Besides, I saw that she tried to talk to you the other day. You saw that. I guess she did try to talk to me, but it was only because she wanted something. I don't think that was the only reason. Maybe she wanted to reconnect with you. If she wanted to avoid you, she could have asked someone else at the library for help, but she chose you. I'm not sure about that. Maybe she actually feels the same way you do, and the map helped her muster up the courage to face you again. There's a Hulk in here. Don't you dare sully my good name. If you want to change something, Remy, you have to take action. What's the worst that can happen if you talk to her? I suppose you have a point. I'll think about it. Thank you, Anna. Getting all that off my chest already helped a lot. No problem, Remy. Anything else on your mind? Well, there was this whole thing about Anna. Yeah, you mentioned the last time. Are you still worried about what she was working on? Not as much. I guess whatever she was doing is over now, but who knows what went on in her lab. I imagine we'll hear about it once the police search it in her apartment. I guess it's not much less thinking about it, especially now that she's out of the picture. In the end, I can't help but feel a little sorry for her too. With her condition, I imagine that the ministry's disapproval must have been a tough pill to swallow. What are you talking about? She had cancer. Oh my god! My dragon persona was dying. Everyone but Pokimane is immediately a contender for my favourite streamer. I see. That kind of diagnosis would drive some people crazy. Maybe that's what it did to her. Having to live with the knowledge must have been difficult. Remy paused and gave me an embarrassed smile. Quite a bit of time has passed since you arrived, and you've barely been able to speak. I've been talking a lot. Yeah. As you wish. There we go. Might as well keep on. Knock, 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 knock. Yeah. Brent's my favourite as well. Oh, I totally forgot. I still have a copy of that map for her. Yeah. By the way, I have something for you. Really, what would that be? Ta-da! Is that what I think it is? If you think that is a map of the underground building, then yes. Wow, I really didn't expect that. How'd you get it? Let's just say I had a chance to inspect it alone, and there was no one between me and the copier to stop me. That's amazing. You know people could get into big trouble for this, right? Well, it's yours now. Do with it whatever you want. I guess I will. I have to warn you, though. What about? You might have heard about the water pockets surrounding the building. Any kind of disturbance could be fatal for any prospective explorers. I heard about that. Is it really as bad as they say? Yes, it is. I'd be careful with all you. Or at least wait until they have taken care of the water pockets. There is no danger if you decide to pay it a visit. Alright, it'll be a while until I get a chance to visit anyway. All my free time right now will go towards practicing for the competition. I see. Well, thanks for helping with the bandage, and sorry about cutting practice short today. I guess you didn't get to see any proper aerobatics after all. No big deal, your health is more important. Thanks for coming at any rate. You're welcome. I'll go in. Alright, let's go. We slowly made our way to the front door. I took a deep breath and tried to prepare myself for the possibility of facing Reza. The 10 scenarios and things I could say to him rushed through my head as I pressed down on the door handle. The door instantly opened with a creak, but I noticed a slight resistance and a strange sound that suddenly made me hesitate. When I looked down to the source of the noise, I saw a taut wire through the gap in the door, hovering over the floor of the entryway. That was a pretty close call, you know. Too bad Reza wasn't here after all. Maybe he ran when he saw us approach. Strange for him to leave everything behind, though. Everything he's stolen, all the generators are still here. Do you think the trap was for us in particular? Probably not. It was more likely of a general safety precaution. If he had any time to prepare for this, he would have taken the stuff with him. True enough, I have no idea you can make a bomb out of a generator. Then you just haven't been with us long enough. If you know how, it's not even that complicated. And Reza somehow figured it out. Apparently so. Does he have any skills pertaining to engineering or electricity? Well, he's worked on cars before and fixes a lot of things back home. I guess that would qualify. He also could have done his own research. Either way, this makes him even more dangerous. At least we now have a whole building's worth of clues. Brent replying to Moobot. Anna, can you get to your apartment from here? We'll be busy with the scene for a while. No problem, I'll leave you to your work then. Good job, Anna, thanks. Hell yeah, we saved Bryce. Well, investigation goes swimmingly, but as you can expect, we need all the help we can get. Boop. And lastly, we have the eggs. It's a relief that we found them unharmed in the building. They're safe and ready to be sent back to the hatchery. Shouldn't we take care of those first? It's not as urgent as you might think. Our eggs are pretty resilient. Being the care of the hatchery is more insurance than a requirement. Some people choose to keep them in their own home until they hatch rather than having the hatchery take care of it. The hatchery has been notified, but they won't be able to send someone for a few hours. I've heard that they're really understaffed. If you bring the eggs and the paperwork to them, you speed up the process, but it's not an urgent matter. I see. In any case, we'll just leave everything here until I get to it. Yeah, we can do whatever we want. We'll do that. We didn't see this one. I was on my way to the hatchery when I heard a voice call out to me. Hello there. I turned around to see an unfamiliar face before me. Oh, this is the dude. I must have done the hatchery. Or I'm guessing that's a girl, actually. Oh no, Kevin. What a name. It's Kevin. Hey, I'm Kevin. Anna, nice to meet you. Could I perhaps interest you in our Midwest institution? Is this some kind of religious thing? Not at all, it's a college. Sorry, but I already got my degrees. Yeah, I know, it was just a joke. Oh, so me going to college is a joke now? I'm not good enough, is that it? Not at all. Even if you wanted to study there, I don't think you'll be with us long enough to make use of it. I think that came out wrong. You're lucky I won't take this the wrong way. Phew. So you're a recruiter for this college? No, this is just my summer job. Once the semester starts up again, I'll actually be attending to get my degree in psychology. College, wonderful times. Is that sarcasm? Maybe. I didn't even know you had colleges here, though. Well, you do now. Why do you even approach me if you know I'm not going to go to college here? Don't tell me it's just because I'm human. I was actually trying to talk to that old lady who walked by, but when she turned around, there was no going back. Oh, well, thanks for not making things awkward. Hey, I treat everyone nicely until I have reason not to. That's good customer service. Sure, but it's not just for the job, you know. That's just me. Why don't you come over to my place today? I'd love to hear more about the con. I'm just a giant slut for dragons, apparently. Then you found the right person for the job. Can't promise anything right now, but maybe I'll see you another time. For sure, I always have to finish up here, but after that I'm free. Alright, I'll let you know. I'm here all day today and tomorrow, so it shouldn't be hard to find me. Great, I have to get going now, but I'll sure to let you know if anything's up. Sure, see you. See ya. It's basically me. Here we are again. Hey Anna, what are you doing here? I'll just come by to drop these off. Drop what off? The stolen eggs. I figured the hatchery would want them back. Oh, I was actually going to get those from the police department later. I'm so glad that they got back safely. Amelie, stop chewing my leg. It's tasty. It tasty. Oh, well. Anyways, I was about to go inside, so I'll take those off your hands. Thanks for bringing them here. No problem. Adine, wait for me. Good job, Anna. Looks like you took my advice. Yeah, Adine and I had a good long talk, and now here we are. I'm glad we did. It was long overdue. Look at all the happy people. This is happy. Look at them all. Look at them all. They're all happy. Farah, do you know who that is, She doesn't talk much. Yeah, I noticed. It's not unusual for someone who's had a rough life like her. She's definitely listening, though, isn't that right? I think we should go inside. Yeah, probably. Well, I'll see you some other time, Anna. Thanks for coming. One big happy family. Yes, I don't need that giant info dump again. Remy and his lipstick. Yep. Thanks to you, I was also able to reconnect with Aideen. Now, it just seems so petty to not have spoken with her for such a long time. All those times when I felt alone and depressed, I really was only a phone call away from someone who still cared about me. But now that you have, this also means that your worst times are over. You're not alone anymore. That is true. To some people, it may not matter much if they have one friend, more or less. But you know what makes the biggest difference? Having one that you didn't used to. We even went to the orphanage together some time ago to help with the kids there. It seems one of them has taken quite a liking to me. That sounds lovely. Her name is Vara, and she... Vara? I remember her. You know about her then. It's such a sad story. But enough about me. You know how I feel? I guess I want to make the most of this day. We're gonna get to snog him again. Ready for the tongues? Boo boo boo. We'll probably do Bryce. We might as well go and see Kevin. That must be him. Why did I skip all that? You guys haven't seen it. Just because I've seen it doesn't mean you guys have seen it. Let me do Kevin so that you guys can see Kevin. That must be him. Hello, good to see you again. This is where you live, huh? For the time being. No. As you wish. That's pretty nice for a small town like this one. Are you not from around here? No, I'm just here for the job until the next semester starts. Basically, I'm trying to drum up interest for the college and see if there's anyone around who'd like to apply for it. How's that working out? Well, I haven't actually met that many candidates out here so far. For a town like this one, it's typical for the young people to go into an apprenticeship to prepare for the I can read, guys. I promise I can read. Let me try this again. For a town like this one, it's typical for the young people to go into an apprenticeship to prepare for their future job rather than to go to college. But if there's anyone willing, we want to find them. Even out here? Yeah, there's always a need for more highly educated people in the cities as they expand. Cities? That's the first I hear of cities in this world. I thought this town was where it's at. Then you've really been missing out. This town isn't really all that special when it comes down to it. I've lived in the city for most of my life. Of course, that's also where the college is. I don't think they'd build one out here anyway. I think as ambassador they showed me around a bit, but apparently that isn't the case. Your visit is a bit of a political issue right now. The bottom line is that it's also for your own protection. Everything surrounding the portal has been a well-kept secret. People know that it exists, and that we currently have human visitors. The exact location is only known to those who live here. If it ever got out, I don't think this town could face the ensuing torrent of tourists trying to catch a glimpse of you. Travel has been restricted as well. There are strict conditions for people who want to come out here. The only reason I was allowed to do it, is because this isn't the first time I'm doing this job. The people who already know me. Heck, I didn't even know this was the town in question until I arrived and heard everyone talking about you. Well, I'm glad they are taking this matter seriously. They certainly are. I'd like to know more about these cities you talked about, though. Well, I can only speak about the one I live in, but what do you want to know? I only really have this town as a point of reference, so why don't you tell me about what's different? Gee, that's only pretty much everything. Out here, living in general seems to be a lot cheaper than it is in the city, and there is much more food for everything. There are green spaces, fields, parks, and farms. You don't really see that in the city. People are more laid back, and there's a bigger sense of community as everybody knows everyone, which can be both good and bad. For example, rumour travels fast and survives well in areas like this one. In the city, you can just make new friends when that happens, but out here, a few well-placed stories could mean social death. In the city, it's also much more crowded. Buildings pretty much line the streets, and there isn't much room for anything else. But with the clubbing scene and opportunities for socialising, there's no shortage of potential friends. There are also many different jobs and education opportunities that you wouldn't find out here. Like what? Creative jobs of all kinds, for example, game designers, writers, artists, that kind of stuff. The same goes for teaching positions in those areas as well. For example, if I wanted to learn how to write a romance novel, I can find a course for that easily. Out here, this would be a lot more difficult, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. In a way, it feels like you're always busy when you live in the city. The streets are usually filled with people trying to get somewhere. Of course, this is also a side effect of the small apartments as people tend to go out more often and seek entertainment elsewhere. Which do you prefer? In the end, I suppose I prefer the city. That's not to say that I think one is better than the other. Different strokes for different folks and all that. You know, out here people would probably laugh at some of the things I do in my free time, but in the city you get enough like-minded people to even get conventions going about all kinds of things. What conventions do you go to? I like all kinds of geeky things, cartoons, comics, and all that stuff. I've even written a few fanfics before too, since I can't really draw that well. Aren't cartoons usually for kids? That's like saying books are usually just for kids. Cartoons are just a medium. Of course there are some that are aimed at kids, but there are cartoons for adults as well. Cartoons for adults, I see. Not like that. Well, I mean, there are cartoons like that, but that wasn't what I was talking about. In any case, what else falls under geeky interests for you? Let's see. I guess you could say I'm kind of a techie. I do like following news about technology and hearing all about new developments in the industry. You must be pretty interested in the portal then. Oh right, I didn't even consider that I could actually go there and check it out. If I knew where it was, that was. I could show you. If you did that, you'd be like the coolest human I've ever met. I suppose you'd be that by default since you're also the only human I've ever met. But you get the idea. Let's just go. I'll be right behind you. There it is in all its glory. That looks so much cooler than I thought it would. Halt, state your business. I just wanted to show the portal to my friend here. Well, friend, you can look, but don't touch anything, and no photos either. Do I look like I have a camera? Well, you could be hiding something in your fur. Are you gonna give me a pat down? I don't think so. Oh, there goes the furry sex, right there. But fictional. You are also fictional. Therefore, you do not come. Correct, I do not come. Poor fictional. What's that, though? Flyers for a Midwest institution. I could give you one if you're interested in going back to school. No, thank you. I'm quite happy with my current job, which is protecting the portal from any unsavory individuals. What's up with you, Sebastian? Just doing my job, Anna. He could be a spy. Really? There has been a lot of interest in the portal from the cities. They have made us offers, but for now we're not doing anything until we see how your visit turns out. In the end, it's just a political power struggle. Small towns like us have to protect our interests. And in the process, reinforce the stereotype of country bumpkins being conspiracy nuts. You know I could arrest you, right? Respect is a two-way street, just saying. Trust is good, but control is better. It's just a matter of perspective. Well, I think I've seen enough here. Anyway, let's head back, Anna. Sure. You're not going to leak anything, are you? Of course not. Now that I think about it, I totally could, though. Oh, really? I have some connections and a potential audience. Now you're starting to sound like Sebastian had a point. Not really, I just know a few people from writing a column in our college magazine. It got popular enough that it was even featured in a local newspaper for a while. Interesting. What did you write about? Nothing special, really. It was just commentary about current events. I see. I guess you were pretty involved in your local community then. Not more than anyone else, I think. What's it like to actually live on campus? College in general is a pretty unique period of life, I'd say. Something I've noticed is that some people are not prepared for the independence they have when living on campus. You are given a chaotic schedule where you have nothing to do on some days, whereas on others you are kept busy with classes, homework and other things that you have to do. With study buddies, roommates and classmates, it's not really hard to make new friends. You also get to meet a lot of people who share similar interests from taking the same classes or being in the same clubs. And don't forget about the dorms, so all these people are always within reach, which can also be both good and bad. You can be tempted to hang out with friends when you should really be studying. For many people, it becomes the first taste of real freedom and independence. Some just handle it better than others, I suppose. There can be a problem with team projects. For example, there's always someone who ends up never showing up and not doing any part of the work. For me, it's not really a problem since I actually enjoy what I'm doing here. I don't mind the homework, and sometimes I read up on subjects in advance so I don't get left behind. I've even corrected the professor once or twice during a lecture. I think that wouldn't be a good idea with certain kinds of professors. Well, with ours I was even allowed the privilege of giving a guest lecture for my own class once. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was talking about. Come on, learning should be fun. It certainly is for me. I suppose being able to have that kind of attitude makes it a lot easier. It certainly does. Let's see if it keeps up once you have a few more semesters under your non-existent belt. Don't be so negative, and just for your information, I do have a belt at home. Besides, it's not as if I'm some sort of antisocial hermit who only focuses on his studies. I just know when to say no to my friends. Oh, really? Yes, we usually get together on the weekends and do some cooking together. People can only stand so much frozen food before they get sick of it, and eating out in the city can add up pretty quickly if you're not careful. I see. Hey, Paige! We rotate the cook every week, but apparently people are looking forward to when it's my turn. I've gotten a lot of compliments from my homemade mac and cheese. Now you're making me hungry. I bet you'll miss it, but they'll get to taste it again once summer vacation is over in a month or so. And in the meantime, you're just out here handing out flyers. Yep, it's good to help our college, and I can also save up a bit in the process. It's certainly easier than trying to juggle a job and homework at the same time later on if things get tight. What were you studying again? Psychology, I see. Alright, go ahead and analyze me right now. It doesn't really work like that. I know, you just passed a test. Oh, I know what you're getting at. Maybe I'll steal that test from you, though. Might be worth trying it out on a few people I know. Be my guest. On a more serious note, tell me something about what you're learning. What? Anything? I just want to get the idea of the subject and whether it's comparable to our own understanding of psychology. I see. Well, I could tell you about an old and very simplified model of our psyche that we get taught in introductory classes. Sounds good. Okay, so this model divides our psychic apparatus into three distinct parts called ID, ego, and superego. The ID represents our most basic desires and instinctual drives, that is, our physical needs and wants, like hunger and thirst, as well as desires and impulses. What's the difference? An impulse is more like wanting to lash out in anger. For example, the ID seeks out immediate gratification for these urges. It is in conflict with the superego, which represents learned behavior like cultural and moral rules and societal standards, the kind of stuff we learn from our role models like parents, teachers, or guardians. The superego is the part that forms our conscious and controls our sense of right and wrong. It seeks to uphold these standards to perfection, which most of the time goes against what the ID wants at any given moment. You sound like you had to learn a lot of this. If these words are failing me, guys. They're failing me. If those internalized, I got there, guys. I got there. Internalized, and I knew what the word was. It just wouldn't come out. If those internalized rules are broken, this misbehavior is punished by the superego with feelings of guilt and shame. This way, we are compelled to behave in accordance to these rules, even if the idea tempts us to do otherwise. And between these two conflicting parts of us, there is the ego, who's trying to mediate. It represents our rational mind that seeks to please the ID's drives in a way that doesn't harm us or go against the superego's goals. However, it also serves another master, the external world. The ego includes all our decision making and how we respond to external stimuli. Ultimately, it is the one calling the shots while trying to balance the needs of the ID, the superego, and the external world. And there you have it, an outdated, simplified model of our psyche. It still serves as a good introduction, though. Thank you. Actually, I think I may have heard about something like this before. Why did you go with psychology in particular? I'm just interested in how people work, I suppose. It's also an incredibly diverse subject, and so are the potential jobs. Just being able to understand people is such a huge factor in many fields, and the skills you learn can come in handy in all areas of life, really. When people hear about psychology, most usually think of psychologists or psychotherapists, but they can also be counsellors for communities and organisations, researchers or teachers. You also often see them teaming up with other professionals to influence every part of society. Just think about hospitals, courtrooms, prisons, even schools and universities. They can also become coaches for high-performance jobs where they work with CEOs, athletes and performers of all kinds. Every institution and every business that works with people can profit from the presence of someone who studies psychology. That's why you'll also find this kind of knowledge to be incredibly helpful even when you are a manager or in sales, because those jobs require empathy and an understanding of your client's needs. Understanding people is just something that can come in handy pretty much wherever you go, and that's what psychology is all about. Even in video games, psychology is a factor. Horror games are an obvious example, but also with tutorials or UI design and how people interact with your game, psychology and player expectations are always going to be a factor. I think I get the idea. Out here, I think a lot can still be done to improve the image of the field, you know? What do you mean? There's a bit of a stigma to admitting that you need help, especially when you're doing fine physically. For them, it's a sign of weakness, so in order to preserve their image, they hide everything away. But locking away those feelings doesn't solve the problem. If anything, it only makes it worse. Oh, you're doing psychology, Paige. Nice. You're gonna change the world and make it a better place. For them, it's... Oh, wait a minute, I've read that. Is that something you'd like to work with? Me? Honestly, I don't know if I could tackle a big issue like that. It's good for me that psychology is such a diverse field, because I'm not quite sure where I'm going with it yet, or what particular job I'd like to have after I'm done with my studies. I see. I think you still have plenty of time to figure that out. Yep, before I came here for my summer job, I was interning at a psychotherapist office for a month. I got to hear about some very interesting and also tragic cases. I thought I wanted to help people with issues like that, but sometimes it's pretty hard not to be affected too much by those stories, so I'm not sure if that's the right job for me. But you already like working with people, right? I don't know, maybe interning there was a little too close to the sun for me. If you didn't, why would you be the one to hand out the flyers? It's just like you mentioned earlier, psychology comes in handy with sales and similar jobs where you have to interact with people. Handing out flyers is pretty similar to that, don't you think? I guess. You seem to be doing well enough with that. You're helping to bring your college and people together, and in this way you're helping both. And it's been a lot of fun too. After all, I got to meet you and even got a glimpse of the portal. Who knows, maybe one of those people you handed a flyer will one day turn out to be famous for their work. Now I think that's a little too idealistic, but I get your point. It doesn't always have to be about big problems. Little problems need solving too. Like what you're eating on the weekend. Ha ha ha, yeah. What about you though? What do you mean? Well, I don't want to pry, but we've been talking all this time and you know a lot more about me now than I do about you. Maybe you can't say anything about where you grew up or what you studied because it's top secret or whatever, but it'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. See you later, Fictional. Good luck with your sister. I hope it goes well. Counseling's a good way to go, Paige. I can see you being a good counselor. Well, I don't like talking about myself at all. Myself at all that much, and I think there's some things that are better left unsaid. I see. But if you're curious, I guess it's only fair to share a few things as well. You know, it's been fun talking about college. I already got my degree a while ago. It was interesting to go hunting for jobs with my unusual combination of degrees, but I thought that would help. That would open a few doors. But before I got anywhere, our world underwent a few changes that made a lot of jobs obsolete. It's been a rough time since then. Turns out those degrees came in handy after all, because in the end they enabled me to come here. If I consider all the good and bad that's happened here since my arrival, it's been a vacation compared to home, and it looks like the vacation might come to an end soon. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I can only hope my visit here will have started something that will mean change for our world, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I shouldn't be such a downer though. Sorry for bringing it up, but maybe that explains why I don't like talking much about it. What's your professional opinion on this? Well, my professional opinion, as a fly distributor, I'd recommend a generous application of hugs. But that's just me. You look like you need what? You need them, basically. That's what he's saying. You need a hug. Go for it. We're getting a hug. Took a step forward, and I soon found myself being enveloped in the furry dragon's embrace. With him pulling me close, it felt like a giant furry blanket was all around me as the hairs tickled my exposed skin. After a few seconds, we parted, and he took a step back again. I hope things could be better for you in the future. I don't think I can do anything to help with that, though. I know, you prefer the little problems. It's getting dark. I should probably head out and look for a cave, or else I'll have to sleep in the streets. What are you talking about? Well, it seems like all the hostels are already full. Despite the vetting process for visitors, enough people got in to take all available short-term lodging spots in this town. Oh, really? Yep, despite only a few people knowing your location, or that of the portal, journalists and tourists are flocking to the towns, hoping to catch a glimpse, or at least find a clue of your whereabouts. And that only leaves me with the option of finding or renting a cave for the night, or sleeping in the streets. Not that I'd mind sleeping in a cave, but for someone like me, it's usually something for an adventurous weekend rather than a way of life, and rocks don't exactly make for the best bedding. You can sleep here. Really? Yeah, there's plenty of room here, and it's kind of my fault that you couldn't find another place anyway. I guess that means you don't share the officer's suspicions about me being a spy then. Not really. You know, I could totally take this room apart while you're sleeping. You're not helping your case there. Besides, you won't really find anything special here. Hey, I'd keep an eye out on that copy of Draconic Desire you've got on the shelf there. I might be tempted to snatch it when you're not looking. Like I'd mind. If you need something for bedtime reading, feel free to help yourself. Oh, I will. What kind of hug? You know the answer. We fucking do with you. After a night of turbulent dream, I don't need to read this. Boo. Remy. Are you ready to see the fireworks? My body is ready. Alright, let's go. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. It looks deserted to me. I thought everyone was watching the fireworks. They are, but they're doing it somewhere else. Alright, we've read this. Jeff is forever putting something in his mouth. That is what Jeff does. He sits there and he eats. What's wrong, Anna? I know where Rez is. We need to stop him. We've seen all this. Mouth pleasers. Wait, did I miss anything? No, it was the same. But now there's something in the way of him. I hobbled to my feet and made my way back outside. In the distance, near the portal, I saw Reza and something was standing between them. As I drew near, I recognized it as Vari, who was growling at him. Reza aimed to kick at her, only to lose his balance and fall when she bit and held onto his shin. After he fought her off with a few kicks, his hand dove into his pocket to grab a few bullets, which he proceeded to load into his revolver. I went as fast as I could, but with my injuries I had no chance to stop him as he aimed at Vara. No! How is this the good ending? Slowly he got up again and walked over to the portal's controls when an administrator suddenly appeared behind him. Immediately she was on him, throwing him to the ground before starting to pound his head with her fists. Together they rolled down the slope of the small hill on which the portal stood. When it came to a halt, the fight resumed. There was a flurry of fists, and suddenly I heard the distinct sound of a gunshot, after which the administrator slumped and fell. Eventually I arrived, only to be able to confirm that both of them were dead. I went up to the portal and examined Vara for any signs of life. I found none. When I looked up again, I saw Remy looking at me with a pained expression. I stepped away, giving him some space as he stepped up to the small corpse. Were you looking for me? Did you sneak out again? Poor girl. He enveloped her as his tears started raining down on the small body. Soon more help arrived. Remy and I got all the medical attention we needed. Besides those we already knew to be dead, it was also too late for Maverick. I warned them about the comet, telling them to check the PDAs I'd given them for verification of my claims. A few minutes later, EMTs arrived and I was put into an artificial coma due to my injuries. In the weeks I was out, a variety of things happened. After everything that had taken place, negotiations were freezed between humanity and the dragons. Out of respect, Rez's body was returned to humanity through the portal. While his actions had shattered all goodwill on the dragon's side, Rez's wounds did their job to do the same for humanity. I too was to be returned to humanity, but as my condition didn't allow it, humanity took the dragon's refusal to transfer me as a sign they were keeping me as a hostage. I wasn't a priority for humanity, though, a fact I was aware of well before I ever arrived in this world. As far as they were concerned, Reza and I had our chance, and the results weren't pretty. Ultimately, the dragons decided to return the PDAs before all contact was cut. Luckily, my claims were taken seriously, and there was already a plan in place to divert the comet. While they would While they would have to use the lab's generators to do it, humanity decided to use their portal's power source to support the slowly failing city for a while longer as they looked for other, more long-term solutions. After I woke from my coma, I had to consider my options. While the dragons were able to create a new power source for the portal, I wouldn't have known how to send myself back to humanity, as that portal was already deactivated, at least not without the expertise of the dead administrator. The only coordinates remaining in the portal were those she left as a last resort. It turned out they were to send someone back in time to the day I arrived here. As soon as I could, I met with Remy, who told me about everything I had missed. Well, I guess that's a little bit happier. So, the comet has been diverted and you replaced the power source for the portal. I guess I must have been gone for a long time. A few weeks, yes. What will you do now? I could use the portal to return to the day of my arrival. After all, I came here to save our dying city, which is something I failed to do. But you saved us. That is true, but I can't help thinking that there could have been a diplomatic solution if I just hadn't been in a coma during the negotiations. Whatever you want to do now, you can be sure that you'll have the council's support. You could just stay here if you wanted to. I bet you wouldn't mind that, would you? You know how I am. Humans just fascinate me. This isn't just about me, though. Of course I would love it if you stayed with us, but I know there are many other factors at play here, and that it won't be an easy decision for you to make. Don't let me stop you from going back if that's what you want to do, though. I'll be fine. Are you sure about that? Yes, after all, I'm not alone anymore. In the last few weeks, I spent a lot of time with Adine, and I'd say we're pretty good friends now. As sad as it is what happened with Vara, there's another girl at the orphanage we've been taking care of pretty often. Maybe you've seen her. Her name is Amelie, and she's just the sweetest little girl. Besides, if you really end up going back in time, I'll see you again. There you go. That was the good ending. What do you mean, weird? Well, you know, not everything has to be perfectly happy all the time. I'm so sad, though. Shall we do an even more depressing one and do Anna's story? Because I need to do the bad and good ending for Anna's story. Jeff, Anna's story is miserable either way. The woman has cancer, you know? It's not going to be a happy ending for her. That's a really cute portrait of Remy, though. Look at that. So now he'll be on our front page. Handsome boy. He is a handsome boy. You have seen your first good ending. I've seen Remy's good ending. Thank you. There we go. I don't know, Punky. It should. It's not like a big game of any kind, obviously. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Should I still cry on good endings? I want Kevin. You can't do anything more with Kevin, Punky. Fucking corn game, yeah. Punky wants Kevin now. Well, we can go. There's Kevin. Look at the little gamer boy. Look at that nerd right there. Let me alpaca. Who do you want to do? We could do Anna. We could do Lorem. Now, Lorem's endings are going to be easy by the looks of it. Because I think I can save just before, like, the split. There's only one difference with his endings. Or, yeah, with his endings. So I can save it just before the fireworks. And then, do that. We can just go down the list, yeah. Anna's shouldn't be too bad. We'll skip everything other than Anna's stuff. Lorem's will be easy. Just let me eat these crisps. I need something. I need to go get some more water and put a drink in the fridge. And we'll keep Furry Boy up. No, you cannot, because I don't have a webcam anymore. Fuck Fredcraft. Alright, spare me emotes for a second. I want to come back and see lots of emotes. I'll be 2 seconds. I gotta get some water. Nice spam, guys. Nice spam. What do you think Kevin is playing? Dragon Theft Auto, probably. Along with my cakes. Do, 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 do. So, new stupid thing that my family are doing. So I am obviously been doing like vegan food for my mental health and stuff. Get some good food in me and all that. My cousin's doing it because he thinks if he eats a lot of it, he won't put on as much weight. Because it's not as fatty as normal stuff. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I'm feeling better now. I'm just broken, Jeff. It's not just that. Like, Trent Seven is a wrestler. And he's a big lad, but he's a vegan. It doesn't matter how good something is for you. If you eat like 7 vegetarian hot dogs, fucking sausages, it's still gonna be fatty. Subway foods. Don't look at calories of fat. My sister literally caught him today, licking the residual, like the bits of barbecue sauce off of the pan we used to cook the food in. They really don't. Alright, we're doing Anna. There he is. Best boy. So Anna's pretty easy as well. Yeah, get some tissues. Yeah, just skip ahead. Meet with Anna. Gotta get my... Where did I put my water bottle? Nice music, though. She told me to meet her here, so she's got to be around here somewhere. The production facility had many different wings, covering everything from research to processing. In addition to production, it was easy to get lost if you didn't know where you were going. I heard some commotion in the distance, and when I approached, I was surprised to see not only Anna, but Remy as well. They seemed to be in the middle of a heated conversation. I thought it would be inappropriate to approach now, so I remained several paces back, out of their field of vision, but still close enough to be able to make out their words. We've heard the rumors. So, you came to me on the basis of rumors. Is that how you operate? What do you want from me? This is not the first time you've been in trouble, you know. They might not be so lenient with you this time. I don't know what you're talking about. Consider this a warning. You should proceed carefully for your own good. If you wanted to threaten me, the least you could have done was to send someone more intimidating. You may be larger than I am, but even I can see that you're just a big coward. You wouldn't dare to put your dirty claws on me. I wouldn't. I'm here as a courtesy to you, not to threaten or intimidate. Do with that information whatever you wish. You know we'll be back, and if they find anything, there will be consequences. Do you think I care? This attitude of yours is not helpful. Neither are you. Well, I've said what I came here to say. Good luck. Whatever. Whatever. Remy turned to leave and started walking in my direction. I ducked behind a pillar, and when he went past, I wasn't sure if he'd seen me. Either way, he left, and I was safe to approach now. Nope. Hey, Anna. Wait, how long have you been here? Not that it matters much anyway. This is just part of the course for me. I know Remy. What's the problem? Nerve of that guy. He probably wouldn't be so uptight if it wasn't for that thing with his girlfriend a few years ago. But I don't care about him. It's his superiors that are the problem. They don't like me and the research I'm doing. They cite their traditions and values, claiming that those are what have kept us alive for so long. If anything were to change, it would obviously fracture the base the society is built on, cause it all to collapse, tear apart families, and allow all hell to break loose. At least if you believe those old timers who keep repeating these phrases. And all that nonsense because of my research. Valuable research that could save lives, mind you. What kind of research are we talking about? I could show you sometime, but we're here to have fun, right? I thought you wanted to show me, since you said we were both in biology and all that. Sure, but after doing this all day, you'll have to excuse me for not wanting to talk about it even more. Wasting my time with that guy, which is another setback. Not that I don't already have more than enough work to do. Even right now, I'm supposed to be working overtime. Guess you could give me a tour some other time then. I will. Oh, and thanks for the blood, by the way. The results aren't in yet, but I'll let you know when they are. Good, I'm just as curious about the results as you are. No, you aren't. I am. I'm way curiouser than you are. Curiouser, is that even a word? It is, since an author popularised its use where I come from. Then I'm way more curiouser than you are. Not if I'm the curiousest. Excuse me for a moment, but I must weep for the English language. At this rate, why don't you just say you're the most curious? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not. This is one of the shortest sentences I've had to say, and I failed completely. I'm not sure. I am not a linguist, are you? Not exactly, but I have a way with words. My tongue is quite skilled, or so I hear. Some might even say cunning. In any case, if you have to work overtime today, does that mean I should wait for you, or do you want me to come back another time? Neither. I think my break should start up right about now. Well, like a coincidence. It is, isn't it? So, where are we going? I don't know where you are going, but I think I need a coffee or 5. You can tag along if you like. It would be my pleasure. We'll see if it'll be mine as well. I hope you brought your own money though, because I'm not sharing. I didn't, but everything I purchased is taken care of by my ambassador status. Nice. Actually, that opens up some very interesting possibilities. It might, but I'd rather not do anything too fishy. I don't want to raise any suspicion, you know? Good point. Well, let's go then. After you, milady. Milady. There we are. Finally, I can't wait to get some coffee into my system. Oh, hello Anna, nice to see you again. Hey, who's your companion? Can you just take my order? I apologize, let me try that again. Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? I'll have a coffee. Thank you. And what can I bring the esteemed gentleperson on the other side of the table? I'll also take a coffee. No problem, I'll be right back. What's her problem? I'm here to order something, not to chit-chat with the employees. I think she was just trying to be friendly. I guess I'm not a fan of friendly then. Here you go, enjoy. I totally needed that. So you work in the facility, and your point is, what's your job there? I mean, what do you do exactly? We do all kinds of things. The truth is, we just have all kinds of specialized machinery there, which is used by many different people for many different purposes. The building is owned and run by the council, who oversees a schedule. It is quite handy since you can go from research to testing and even manufacturing all in the same complex. I started out as a researcher in biology, which is still my main job, but I've been there so long and learned the ins and outs of the building so well that eventually I was asked to take over some managerial duties. Sure, it means more work, but it also allows me to run a personal project every once in a while. Does that state your curiosity? I've only seen glimpses, but it already sounds like a fascinating place. I'm not sure I'd go so far as to call it fascinating, but it surely does give me a lot of opportunities. Oh, I forgot to ask you what you actually plan to do with my blood and the test results. What is this, an interrogation? Think someone's in a bad mood? Then you must be talking about Adine, the purring waitress, or yourself, because you haven't seen me in a bad mood yet, not even close. Excuse me, princess! Excuse me, Punky. I'm not that grumpy. I am moderately grumpy. Okay, I guess you don't like questions then. Sorry, I'm just stressed from all the work lately. I'm not getting much respite between my regular work, overtime, personal projects, and other disturbances, like that Remy sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. What do you usually do during your free time? Having a good work-life balance is very important, you know. I love my job, I really do. Actually, I love it so much that even if in my free time I still do things I have to do with biology. As I said, I've got the opportunity to do my own projects sometimes, so that's why I focus on when I get the chance. It would be a shame to pass up an opportunity like that without using it. With the current influx of work, I rarely leave the facility if I'm not eating or sleeping. Even right now, I'm only on break and have to go back for another shift. Maybe you should do something else for a change. Maybe, but right now that's not really an option. It would help if the council weren't constantly sending their lackeys to mess with me. So that wasn't the first time. No, I suppose I'm on their watch list or something. What is that? It's a long story, and not one for the first date. So you're saying this is a date? No, I'm saying that even if this was a date, which would be much more than whatever this is, it wouldn't be very appropriate. Stories about work aren't very romantic. It's always about work with you. Come on, you're on break. Maybe we should do something to take your mind off that for once. Welcome back. I hope your shower went well. We're gonna make Jeff cry with Anna's story. So we're getting wonderful, wonderful dialogue between two Annas. Like what? I'm not sure. Do you have any other hobbies? Not really. Hey waitress. Hey waitress. How can I help you? Do you have anything here to entertain your guests? Any games or other distractions? I'm not sure. Let me go check. What exactly are you trying to do? Just wait and you'll see. The anticipation is killing me. Actually, no. It's boredom. It's more for the kids, but we don't really have anything else. It's fine, thank you. Have fun. Have fun. A board game, really. I know it's not Knixit's textile merchant, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Textile merchant. Nixki. I think I've heard of that game. Or a game that's got a similar name. It's a game, never mind. Well, I'm not convinced that this will accomplish anything unless your goal is to make me regret this day. It seems to be a trivia game. Do you have a good general knowledge? Do you even know what kind of advanced knowledge I have to memorize and work with every single day? You bet I have a good general knowledge. Certainly more than enough to beat a foreigner like you. If you're so confident, maybe we should make a bet. What do you have in mind? Let's say if I win, I'll get to go on a real date with you. No fitting me in during your break, no complaining about everything, and no acting as if you're doing me a favour, especially because it was you who wanted to meet me in the first place. And if I win, I'll have you come in sometime so I can run more tests on you. Alright. Since it's your idea, it's only fair that I start, so how does this work? It seems to be pretty simple. We take turns drawing cards and asking questions until we're both asked a number that we agree on beforehand. Whoever gets more right in the end wins. How many questions shall it be then? How about 5? Let's make it 3. Not sure how long this will take. My break won't be for too long either. Alright, go ahead then. I saw mischief in her eyes, her stare piercing, paired with the hint of an arrogant smirk that exposed her anticipation. She seemed confident that she would win and loved every second of it. Slowly, her hand went over to the deck of cards and drew the topmost. Who is cited as one of our most important historians, his work spanning over 20 books, credited with mapping out our entire history since the beginning of the sentence. How could you even know something like that? You have only been here for what, a few days? Because shrubs feel nice. Maybe you should underestimate me. Maybe. Let's see how you fare with your first question. Bring it. How far can you walk into the woods? Only until the middle. Anything after that and you're walking out of the woods again. You're right, that's a rather weird question though. I suppose I read the right kind of books growing up. I know most of these trick questions. Let's see what the second question has in store for you, shall we? Round 2. Alright, if there are 5 apples and you take away 3, how many do you have? 3. Guess you also know your trick questions. Apparently so. Okay, here's your question. In which year of our timeline did we gain sentience? 0. The beginning of our timeline marks the event when we gain sentience. Right again, have you played this game before? It's a children's game. These questions aren't really a challenge. I'll just go ahead and draw the next card so we can end this. An adventurer who values his life has to choose between 3 rooms to cross. Which one of the following would be the safest? A. 1. A room filled with poisonous gas. 2. A room filled with 100 highly trained assassins. 3. A room submerged in water filled with alligators that have not eaten in 8 months. Is there a right answer to this? An adventurer who values his life has to choose between 3 rooms to cross. If he values his life, he wouldn't. That's right, all the rooms are equally deadly. Alligators can go up to 2 years or more without food, making room 3 as deadly as the others. The other 2 rooms should not require any explanation. At least according to this card. To be honest, I think the answer is debatable. Don't worry, I'll still count it as the right answer for you. No need to get your tail caught in a door about it. Looks like this is going to be the last question. Just get it over with already. What is the approximate acceleration speed of a nose-diving flyer? I'll have to think about that one for a minute. I was just kidding. I still could have calculated that. Okay, here's the real question. What is the only substance known to be lighter in its solid form compared to its liquid state? Water. That seems to be correct. Of course it is, duh. Well, it appears to me that our game has ended in a tie. What do you propose? I say we both get our rewards. After all, we each made a good effort to get them. That's fine with me. I ought to have a spot in the facility to do the test for a while though, so I suppose next time we meet it'll be a day. Don't forget what I said earlier about what I expect from you on this day. You better be on your best behaviour. I'll try. Thank you. In any case, I should head back to work. My break is just about over. See you soon then. Of course, and I'll make sure you deliver your part of the deal. See you soon. Despite all odds, I managed to match a perfect score in the game we played. Even though my bet of forcing her to go on a proper date with me was more to get back at her for her earlier rudeness, I had not expected this outcome. I was not even sure what I expected from this meeting in the first place, but now I was locked into going on a date with her and being her own personal guinea pig. Whether anything good would come of this, I wasn't sure either. More free time. What should I do? Boop, 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 boop. I think we're just gonna, like, skip. Reza was allegedly here at some point. Maybe I should ask Anna. Hello? Hello? Anybody here? I get like that, trying to get into our office sometimes. Can I help you? I was just looking for Anna. This is her lab, right? Why don't I ever get any recognition? This is my lab as much as it is hers. Either way, Anna is not here. Would that be all? Since you work here, maybe you can help me instead. Oh, of course, your precious Anna isn't here, so you'll have to settle for me. I see how it is. That's not what I meant. Of course, let's just get this over with. You could start by telling me who you are. Here's the short version. My name is Damian. I work in this facility, and I'm unfortunate enough to live the nightmare of having to deal with Anna on a daily basis. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. And you are? You don't know who I am. Of course I know who you are, but your assumption validated the point I was going to make. You see, this whole thing about you coming here has been blown out of proportion, like it's some huge event that everybody should be celebrating. Newsflash, not everyone cares. Once both of you are gone, life will return to normal, and we can all go back to what we actually should be doing. I imagine a lot of this has to do with those human myths you have. I can only reiterate, not everyone cares. What exactly did you want again? How's Reza been here recently? Do you know anything about Reza's visit to this facility? I've seen him a few times. He would come by to ask about the progress of the generators. That was one time when Anna told him she'd have news, but when he come over, she just wanted to run some tests on him. Did he go through with it? No, he wanted some compensation, I suppose. Nothing she could offer satisfied him, however, and that was that. How long have you known Anna? Why do you care about that? Maybe when I find out what kind of person she is, you might have an idea. I'll put it this way, I've known her far too long. What kind of research is she doing? Cancer research. She thinks she can cure it, but she's out of her mind. Is that such a bad thing? The way she does it, yes, she's wasting resources that could be better spent on projects with an actual chance of success. What kind of research are you doing? Right now, guess you got tasked with running all those tests on your blood. You did. That's right. Well, she goes out and does whatever the heck she wants. I get to keep an eye on the experiment. Any interesting results? Not just yet, but soon we'll know more about your body than you do. That is all. Thanks for your help. Yeah. He's a grump. Skip ahead. Meet with Anna. And just on time. Now, where is she? Hello? What's this? Looks like a message. Something came up at the last second. Wait for me. It shouldn't be too long, Anna. I guess at the last second it's meant in a literal sense here, or else she could have just called me. Guess we're playing the waiting game then. Okay, it's been like an hour and my patience is slowly but surely running out. Wait. I already waited this long, so I guess I can wait a little longer. I'm not sure who the world record holder for most patient person is, but now I feel like a contender. Still no sign of her though. Try to get into the lab. Alright, I'm gonna score myself some sweet lab equipment. That's the least she can do for making me wait. Or maybe I'll just wait inside. Standing around here is getting rather tedious. Pushing the door does nothing, neither does pulling. Guess I'm out of options here. Hey, what's this? At the bottom of the door, the corner of the envelope was noticeably sticking out. Putting in the corner, I was now holding the envelope in my hands. But I gotta pass the time somehow, right? Let's see. Dear Anna, appointments for the next month, treatment plan, Dr. Valido. I probably shouldn't be looking at this. Quickly, I put the letter back into the envelope and pushed it through the gap in the door. You looked at Anna's envelope. What are you looking at? Your beautiful door. Where have you been all this time? Reading comprehension must not be your strong suit because my note clearly said I'd be back soon. Note to self, the word soon now refers to a time span of over 2 hours when waiting for a scheduled appointment. Has it really been that long? It certainly didn't feel like it. Alright, sorry for making you wait. Losing track of time happens to the best of us. It happens to me all the time. I guess we missed our movie. Can't we see the late screening or something? That was the late screening. The theatre's closed now. Maybe we should reschedule. That won't work, at least not for me. Today was the only day I could leave early. I won't have another chance anytime soon. So what do we do now? Maybe the coffee place is still open. I don't know. I guess that's better than nothing. Closed as well. That's just peachy. Why do you keep working so late anyway? Because what I'm doing is important. You're doing cancer research, right? And who told you that? Damien, I stopped by your lab some time ago, but you weren't there. That shard-born bastard, what else did he tell you about me? Nothing much, the whole thing wasn't really about you anyway. I see. Sounds like you two don't get along that well. That's the understatement of the century. Being trapped in a small room with the likes of him for hours on end every day is a scenario born of a sick mind with the intention of making me suffer as much as possible. It certainly doesn't make my research any easier. The stress probably doesn't help you either, and it's not worth jeopardizing your health over. Don't overwork yourself. You can't save anyone if you're dead. If I don't find a cure, no one else will. No one else can. Besides, I was only late today because I got your stupid blood work ready. You have the test results. Yeah, want to know what I have to say about them? Definitely. Okay, how much do you know about genetics? A little bit, I guess. Don't worry, I'll put it into words that are easy for you to understand. To start off, I found that on average, about 90% of your genes are I'm not even going to attempt to say that. To our species genes. That may seem like a lot, but to put into perspective, about 50% of your DNA is also shared with fruit. To further elaborate, you and your human neighbour back home are probably around 99.9% genetically similar. If you compared the various sentient species we have here to each other, they would only be around 95 to 97% similar. As for what exactly all of this tells us, although a match of 90% sounds like a lot, it's not as much as you might think. Still, for two beings from a different world altogether, that's quite remarkable. Beyond DNA, the biggest similarity between us is within the brain structure, but that's not surprising considering our high-level cognitive abilities. That'll surprise Maverick. What do you mean? He doesn't seem to like humans very much. I'm sure he'd be displeased to know how similar we are. Oh, he doesn't like anyone really. He's just like me in that way. Yeah, you two would make a great couple. You're a little late for that. I'm already his ex-girlfriend. That does not surprise me. Really? How did that go? Not how you might think. It actually went pretty well, for a while at least. But in the end, we both got too absorbed in our jobs until we realised we had drifted apart too much and agreed it would be better if we just broke up. I still respect him for the work he does. I mean, we even used to solve crime together. I'd be in a lab running tests and he'd be out in the field chasing after the perps. Those were good times. I guess nowadays he just chases after me. What? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that, but if you know him, maybe you can help me out. I certainly can't help you if you don't tell me what's going on. Okay, but this is just between us, alright? Sure, whatever. Maverick was convinced that I'm an accomplice of a crime. He made a point to tell me that he's searching for proof to legally arrest me or worse. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, really? It's nothing. He can't find any proof that doesn't exist. Still, it doesn't feel nice to be threatened and stalked, especially by someone like him. That's just him. He gets way too into it once he sets his sight on something. I noticed. It's his job. What do you expect? I wish he'd just leave me alone. He wasn't always like this, you know. A couple of years ago, he was assigned to this one case. Oh, we're getting Maverick backstory. He was still relatively new on the force, young and eager to help. Then reality came crashing down on him. There was a serial killer who shook up the whole town, and the victims were apparently eaten. We later found out that the killer's actions were the result of a degenerative disease which brought his feral nature to the foreground. At that point, he was just a wild animal, turned into a cannibal that hunted under the shadow of night. Everyone in town was up in arms, terrified that they'd be next. The police did everything they could, a curfew was instated, and patrols guarded the streets at night, and then they found him munching on his fifth victim. Poor little Maverick was not prepared for what he would find. It was Jeff! It was Jeff! We all know that it's Jeff that likes putting stuff in his mouth. Jeff went feral. Stand back, Maverick. I'll handle this. Miles? It was his brother. Oh, that's so sad. Step away from the body, Miles. Miles couldn't comprehend their words and only saw rivals who wanted to take away his prey. And he wasn't about to just let go without a fight. Miles raised his head from his kill, blood dripping from his maw. The officer's breaths were smothered by the deathly stillness of the night. Fangs barred, the feral dragon snarled and stood strong in front of his meal, prepared to protect it from the two who intruded upon his territory. Wherever this is, Miles, it's over. Don't make it worse now.
We look forward to working with
Thanks
you.
for the
I hope we can
points
along.
for the boost, Nanas. In an instant, Miles was upon Bryce. They clashed in a flurry of teeth and claws. Miles had the advantage with his small frame and quick movements, and Bryce could not get a clear hit in. It all happened so fast and Maverick didn't know what to do. They rolled on the ground and Bryce ended up on his back, as helpless as a turtle. Miles pinned him and clamped his jaw on his neck. Bryce's claws were the only thing preventing Miles from biting down, and he was slipping slick with blood and quivering with fatigue as he tried to push him off. For a brief moment, Bryce thought he'd meet his end, when the jaws suddenly relaxed and he was able to dislodge them. When he looked up, he saw that Maverick had managed to get to Miles from behind. He bit through his brother's neck from above. Blood flowed down Maverick's jaws and over Miles' lifeless body. Bryce had been saved, but the young dragon wore a wide-eyed, empty stare. Maverick blamed himself for not taking better care of his brother. He knew Miles had problems and was taking medication for it, but he wished he could have done more to help him. The medication wasn't the right one, by the way. Maverick takes solace in the fact that he was able to save Bryce, but he's never been the same since that incident. Now he scrutinizes everyone and everything. I'm not sure how that's supposed to help me. It doesn't, but now you know why he is how he is. It's not unusual for him to act like this, so you might just have to wait it out. Anyway, let's get back to your test results. Since you were so interested, did you want a copy of them? Yeah, I'd appreciate that. No problem. I heard you also wanted Rez's blood. Of course, I invited him over too, but that was before you arrived, and I thought what we had was special. Oh, it is. Reza was too stuck up to agree to anything. He wouldn't even participate in an exhilarating round of trivia board games. Not even that. Can you believe it? I could almost see the sarcasm dripping from your mouth. Still, it's kind of a shame. It would have been interesting to compare your blood to his. What a shame indeed. Let's just enjoy a romantic date in the back alley of a coffee shop. Of course. Unless you want to take this someplace else. What? You don't like hanging around dirty back alleys? Actually, I do. Spooky. It's sad. So, I can't remember if you were here for the last one. But we managed to get to the end. We got the bad ending for the dragon we were going after. And then we quickly got the good ending, which was just as sad. This character we already know has cancer. And both of her stories sound like they're going to be sad, the endings, even though one of them is the good ending. And that was just the backstory to another dragon, which is actually really, really sad. Everything about this game is sad. Actually, I do. Now that's the spirit. I'm getting kind of hungry. I figured we'd be having a meal on our date. What? Can you go a few hours without having to stuff your face? I could offer you a handful of dirt if that's to your taste, Anna. I already have my own dirt. Sorry, but I already have my own dirt. Oh really? What kind of dirt would that be? Only the finest governmentally funded dirt from Tatsu Park. You filthy back alley stuff has nothing on this. You win this round. Either way, a side dish would be nice. I know it's one place that never closes. Let's go there, sure. After several minutes of walking, Anna led me to the outskirts of town. We were after a farmhouse. On one side, fields stretched towards the horizon, and on the other were lush green hills with fenced populations of fat animals. What kind of restaurant is this supposed to be? Self-serve. You're a bad girl, Anna. I know. How well can you hunt? Me? Even if I knew how, it's not like I have any equipment here. Equipment? What a sissy. You've got hands and teeth. What more do you need? A long-range weapon, maybe? Like fire. I suppose even you could make use of that. Alright, since I'm apparently the only one capable of acquiring food, I'll be right back. Anna walked over to the fenced enclosure of animals that reminded me of sheep. She crouched and squeezed herself through the bars, after which I lost sight of her. Waiting game 2.0 start. It took only a couple of minutes for her to return, dragging one of the animals behind her with her now bloody jaws and hands. Dinner's ready. What kind of animal is this? It's called a mouflon. Anyway, do you have a part you'd prefer? See how nice I am? I'm even letting you choose first. Rump. Give me rump! No problem. Using one of her claws, she skinned the dead mouflon and divided it into various pieces. Do you want yours grilled or raw? Grilled. Unless prepared properly, raw meat carries a significant risk of disease for us. How inept can your species even be? You can't hunt on your own and you need tools and help at every step. You don't even have claws to cut things up. I'm not sure how you could ever survive in the wild. Seriously, what god did you piss off to end up like that? Evolution. I guess after millions of years of evolution, nature decided that we didn't need those abilities anymore. Instead, we got very articulate hands and arms and our upright stance. Those let us do many other things. Like what? Who builds everything in your society? Who's responsible for the delicate tasks, like assembling electronics, manufacturing or cooking and bartending? That's mostly us, the runners. We've got proper hands after all. Now compare your arms to mine. Ours are much longer and have way more mobility. Especially our fingers. They have an incredible amount of articulation. The difference between you and me is about as big as the difference between you and another of your species. Just imagine what we could do with our advantages. Oh, you think you can school me? Sure I can. Don't get cocky. We've overcome the limitations of individual species with all of our technology. Actually, we have technology back home that is far superior to yours. I'd love to see it, though we've already gathered plenty of information on your tech from the databases contained in the PDA. What will you do when we catch up? If you get there, we'll see. She opened her maw wide before a liquid shot from both corners of her mouth and onto the ground below. The parts of the mouflon she had prepared. After a few seconds, the liquid burst into flame, heating up our dinner. That's a neat trick. I bet you wish you could do that, huh? That'd be wicked cool. Right, it comes in handy. How does that work anyway? Don't you ever burn your mouth? Not at all. There are actually two different components. They only catch on fire when a sufficient quantity of both is present. Interesting. The sexy, blood-soaked look. Who wouldn't want the blood-soaked dragon? Not scary at all. The flames weakened and grew smaller until they went out, revealing steamy, appetizing pieces of meat. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Help yourself. I grabbed a piece but dropped it as soon as I felt the heat on my fingertips. Ouch, that's still hot. Can't take a little heat, huh? That's too bad. Unaffected by its temperature, she took a piece into her hand, tore a chunk out of it with her teeth and started chewing. I guess your scales are a good insulator. Evidently so. How does it taste? Just wonderful. Stolen goods always taste best. I can already picture the old farmer reduced to tears after he discovers one of his precious mouflons is gone. You're a wild one, Anna. Thanks, I could teach you a thing or two. I think it should be cool enough for your sensitive little fingers now. Carefully I grabbed one of the pieces, which by now had indeed cooled down enough to not burn me anymore, and took a bite. It was a little bland, I had to admit, but not bad for something that was alive less than an hour ago and prepared in the wild. How do you like your mouflon, a la Anna? Not bad. Not bad, I'd have to say, especially at that price. How often do you just go out and hunt on your own? Only when necessary, or when I feel like it. I still go to fancy restaurants because I can afford it, but they don't mean much to me. For me, it's all about the experience, and one isn't necessarily better than the other. Because to your point, it was unusual but fun. This certainly isn't how I thought the evening would go, but it was pretty fun. Anyways, I'm stuffed. Me too. There's still plenty left over. What are we going to do with it all? We can just leave it here. Hey, maybe the old farmer will help himself to it. How nice of you to leave something for him. I want to subtract prejudice or something. Talk about recycling. How nice. Yeah, he should pay me for cooking him such a nice meal. We should probably leave before this senile has-been wakes up from his evening nap. She's such a fucking cunt. Yeah, let's go. I never did her story, and I'm happy I didn't now. Well, that was interesting. Wait a minute, I've got something for you. Here you go, your test results, black on white. Thanks, but did you really need to spend all the extra time getting this done today? I just wanted to get it over with when I had the chance. Maybe you should start thinking about not working so late on a regular basis. It might do you some good, Anna. You know, I think you have a point. I haven't been feeling like myself lately. There are various reasons for that, but working too much might be one. Welcome back, Sean. Today was kind of fun, so maybe I should take the effort to get out every once in a while. Speaking of which, now that our date is officially over, we should talk about your end of the deal. Of course. There's an opening soon where I can fit you in. I'll call you with all the details. I shall be looking forward to that. I'll do whatever. How about her assistant? I met him once or twice. Well, that's him. Oh, so if you date Anna, her assistant dies. Interesting. Interesting. I did wonder what was going to happen with this death. Are you okay? I don't know. Is there anything that I can do? Let's just get this over with. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded. And here's more bad news. The blood we found in the first victim in town. Oh, wait a minute. Is this just the same? Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I've seen this. Skip. You did a thing! I did a thing! Guys, I did a thing. Don't look at me, I'm just the messenger. Was that one of the things that I was meant to be getting? So when we get to the 4th day... I can save before the 4th day and go back. Hey Anna, Lauren, right? Yep. Do you get a chance to think about Iman and we've already seen him as well? This will be different. Hey Anna, I didn't even call you about the test yet. To what do I owe the honour? I have a few questions about the murder of your colleague. Is that so? Why do you get to go around asking questions like that? Is it a matter of human interest? Actually, yes, you could say so. Interesting. What's in it for me? Hey, I already agreed to your test. I'm not sure what else I could offer you. Besides, I'm working with the police, so your cooperation would be greatly appreciated. Oh, you're working for the police. Now you really have my attention. I want to see where you're going with this, so by all means, go ahead. What happened the last time you saw him alive? I saw him yesterday evening. There was some tests I needed to run overnight, so instead of staying late to set them up, I had him do it. That's what colleagues are for, right? Can you tell me what happened when you found him? I might have left early yesterday, but I made up for it by coming in early today, before anyone else. That's why I was the one to find him. I was on my way to my office when I saw him lying in the middle of the hallway in a puddle of his own blood. What was your relationship to him? We were colleagues, nothing more. I heard that you didn't particularly like him. Yeah, but that's not unusual. I don't like most people. That is true. She doesn't like anyone. He really didn't like me, though. I wonder fucking why. Why is that? He was jealous of my success, and it showed. Seemed very calm for someone whose colleague was just murdered. People die every day. It's a simple fact of life. Besides, I don't see you crying about him either. I didn't know him that well, so it's not like someone I actually cared about died. The world stops spinning for no one. Life goes on, and for me, that means being without an assistant for a while. Lovely. That would be all. Anna dating Anna. You interrogated Anna. Analytical. Boop, boop, boop. This is the portal stuff. Gonna wait it out. The witness report from Anna is good. Nothing new, but yeah, alright. I literally did nothing. It's payday, Anna. The tests are ready, the machines are ready, the lab is free. Only one more thing is needed to get this party started, and that would be you. So you better bring your body to me, or else I'll have to come get it myself, in which case I won't be able to guarantee your safety. She wants my body, guys! We're in! We're in! I hope you aren't afraid of needles. She's gonna call out, isn't she? There you are. I was wondering if you'd even show up. I'm an honourable person. Good for you, and for me, as it turns out. Follow me, please. Follow me. Oh, shit. So what exactly is this room? It's our testing room for research and life subjects. And what exactly do you test here? You'll see that soon enough. I intend to use this facility to its fullest potential. I see. I see. Let's start with this one. What's that? I can get a good look at your bone structure, muscle groups, and organs with this. For the finer details, we'll need a different machine. Would you please lie down here? Of course. Before we start, can I ask about your qualifications? You can trust me, I'm a doctor. What kind of doctor? Well, Doctor of Pharmacy is the only title I currently hold, but I know how to operate this machinery. It doesn't exactly inspire confidence. You think I'd let an opportunity like this go to waste by not doing my research? I'll have you know that I'm very qualified to perform these tests, if you say so. Now please try not to move too much while this is running. And how long will that be? Good question. I suppose we'll see soon enough. And what do we do now? Just wait until it's over. What do you want me to do? Dance for you so you don't get bored? I wouldn't mind that. I'm sure you wouldn't, but I'm afraid I don't provide those kind of services. Wow! Wow, she's throwing me a lap dance! You know, when I heard that something happened at the facility, I thought it might have been you. It's quite something, isn't it? You know, if I stayed as late as I used to, it might have been me instead of him. And it's only because you told me not to stay late so often that I wasn't there that night. Still, somebody died. I'm not crying over that bastard. Alright, you can move again. Does that mean I'm done? That's a good one. We're just getting started. What about the results? Don't hold your breath. It'll be processing for some time, and the resulting data will be so vast that I'll probably end up studying it for days. Let's collect some samples now. Where should I start? Wherever you like. Show me your claws. That would be fingernails in my case. I suppose you're right. It would be insulting to call those thin little things of yours claws. They'd probably break off before you could make use of them in any practical way. There's one more way nature gave us the short end of the stick. So which part would be fine for me to cut off? Take a piece from the white part. The rest you see is attached to the finger. Hold still then. Don't cut off too much. Don't worry, I only need enough to put under a microscope. There, was that so bad? Do you want me to put a bandage over your little boo-boo? I'll show you a boo-boo. No thanks. And what now? I don't know if this is going well or not, but it sounds like any one of my dates. Now it'll go right under the microscope. She got up and sat down at the table intently. Anna stared at the device while messing around with the nail clipping. Let's see. Putting your fingernail under a microscope is something we used to do in middle school. Quiet, please. There's a scientist at work here. Okay. This structure looks a lot like keratin. I could have told you that. Well, good thing you didn't, because that might have saved us some time. Of course, we can't have that, right? Keratin is a substance that forms the claws on us dragons and most of the animals here, at least as far as mammals, reptiles, and birds are concerned. So why you would retain the structure but not do anything useful with it is beyond me. It gets better. They grow continuously, so they need to be cut regularly. What happens if you don't cut them? They just keep growing. How much can they keep growing? Pretty much indefinitely. They get thicker, at least, or what else happens when they grow? They just get longer. What a hassle. So how long are you planning on keeping me here? Getting impatient already. I'm just saying, our date didn't take all that long, and you mentioned you already have days worth of data from that machine. Well, we never specified any terms, and I sat out our date until it was officially over. This will certainly go much quicker if you can show a little patience. Says the Queen of Complaining. I don't complain, I just point out errors. Besides, I'm an empress, not just a queen. I mean, that would be something I would say. I will give that dragon that. By the way, how do you feel about needles? You alright there? I don't mind them. Glad to hear that. You need to remove some layers for the next part. What are you gonna do? These are just some extras, and I'll measure your brain activity with one of those helmets. Alright. There you go. What is it now? It's kind of cold in here. Is it? I suppose it might be for you, considering your lack of fur. Luckily, our scales are pretty good insulators, as you saw last time. It actually goes both ways. We're pretty resistant to both heat and cold. Just let me know if I turn blue. You turn blue when you get cold. I'd like to see that. It was just a joke. Besides, when that happens, it's usually too late to get out of it again unscathed. What a shame. This will also take a while. I want to have a good reference and see how your rates change. Your head shape is a little different from ours, but I think this one should do the trick. Perfect, just as if it was made for you. I'm not so sure of that. By the way, how can you even be sure that your machinery will have no adverse effects on me? I suppose I can't. That is mildly unsettling. Your physiology is similar enough to ours that there shouldn't be any problems. I see. I see is like the standard reply to everything in this game. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. What is this? A polygraph test? No, this is something completely different. I'm also measuring your brain activity here. Besides, I don't really care about the truthfulness of your answers. Rather, this is to establish your natural highs and lows of the values I'm measuring. Go ahead then. Let's start with the easy ones. Just say no to the following 3 questions. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Understood? No. I set myself up for this one, didn't I? The questions start now. Are you human? No. I see. Is your favourite colour green? No. Interesting. Have you been convicted of any crime? No. I see. Now we get to the real part. You can answer the following questions however you like. Got it. Did it make you uneasy when you had to answer all the test questions negatively? No. I see. Interesting. Have you taken a liking to anyone here since you arrived? Yes. I see. Did you have any ulterior motives when you came to our world, or is it as simple as we are led to believe? There are no ulterior motives. I see. That's all for this test. You can take off the helmet, and I'll take care of the electrodes. This kind of seemed like an interrogation. I wanted to keep it simple by asking questions that could get a reaction. I see. I see. It's kind of a shame because in the end, a lack of additional subjects for this test means those results might not be very useful to us. We probably need a few more humans. And why do them in the first place? The data is still useful, just not as useful as it could be. And besides, I did tell you I'd make the most of this room. Well, what's next? I'm not sure yet. Do I want to get close enough to examine I can't even say it, orifices? There's only one person in this room who can answer that question. I guess so. We quarantined Reza when he initially arrived here, but skipped the procedure with you. After examining Reza, we didn't think humans by themselves posed any danger. Nevertheless, who knows what kind of illnesses and bacteria you might be housing as an alternate host. I'm not taking that risk without a full protective suit. Does that mean your procedures are going to get a lot more invasive? No, I'm not in the mood to put the suit on and sterilize the whole room. To be fair, I haven't heard of anyone I've been in contact with getting any strange diseases thus far. Sure, but then I'd have to ask you if any of those actually got close enough to you. As in, intimately close. No orifice examinations, then. She doesn't want to look at our orifice. This is sad times, guys. We've been turned down. For the next part, we'll actually have to go outside. That sounds like fun. Depends. Here, strap this to your arm. What's this? A handheld monitor. I want to measure how you perform during exercise. Yes, ma'am. That's a good little human. Let's go then, shall we? Sure thing. And off we trot. And now, take one lap around the block. I'll be waiting for you here. You can go as fast or slow as you want, but try not to stop until you're back here. I'll be monitoring you, so I'll know if you try to do anything fishy. I wouldn't do such a thing. Of course not. The honest and good Anna would never do such a thing. There's no need to make fun of me for it. You're such a bleeding heart, Anna. Anyway, you can start whenever. The monitor should take care of the rest. Trying for a consistent speed, I started with a light jog. Soon I was outside the gate and around the corner when I met an unexpected surprise. Hey, Anna. Hey, Remy. Long time no see. Indeed, just enjoying the fresh air, I see. Yeah. You know, if you ever want to come by and visit the library or need to know anything, feel free to ask me. I will, thanks. My pleasure. Afterwards, I finished my lap around the block, arriving only a few minutes after I had started. I suppose it was too much to ask for a lap without any breaks. Maybe I shouldn't have expected you to be as fit as we are. I got distracted on the way. How so? Did you have to stop and smell some flowers? I met Remy. Remy? Oh, I wouldn't mind if that bastard kicked the bucket too. How can you say that? That's how I feel. Would you prefer me to lie to your face? Anyways, I've got your data, so we can head back inside if you're not too exhausted to walk. Of course. Looking at your data, it's kind of hard to evaluate it without having any reference points. How much exercise do you usually get? A little. I see. You sure get asked a lot of questions here. All just part of the tests. If you're gonna insult me again, Punky, get out. Though, I think those were all the tests I needed to run on you for today. Does that mean we're done here? Oh, some of the data from the scanning machine has been processed. We can look at some pretty pictures of you. Why don't you print them out and have them framed? Or better still, sell the prints. I could make bank doing that. Thanks for the idea. Wouldn't I deserve royalties from that? Sorry, no such written agreement exists. Oh right, I totally forgot that you're a mammal. To encounter an intelligent mammal of all things, well, reasonably intelligent at the very least. Why is that so surprising? You already have your myths about humans. Myths are myths. Having you here in the flesh is an entirely different thing. It's not like I could use our myths to get a scan like this one. It just seems so funny to me. Do you nurture your young from your teats as well? We do. Let me study your muscle groups for a bit. Do you want me to take my clothes off again? I meant the pictures. Oh, I see. You can stay for a bit longer in case I have any questions. Okay. While I continued sitting on the bed, she went up to her table and started looking at the scans of muscle groups. As we talked, her eyes never left the screen. Some of these structures are very similar to those found in Damien's kind. I'm not surprised, his stature is similar enough. True, now shut up and let me concentrate. Does that approach ever work? What are you talking about? You being that rude to everyone. We're done here, get out. You can't take what you dish out, huh? Suddenly she got up, a look of rage crossed her face. I said get the heck out of here. She grabbed my arm and roughly walked me to the door. After shoving me outside, she quickly closed the door behind me. I was talking about how she didn't like Remy. She doesn't like anyone. Okay. You will do nothing. Ba-ba-dum. So it turns out you've seen this before. Yeah, sure. We don't need to kill Bryce. When I approached Anna's lab, I saw her sitting on the hallway floor, the door to her lab wide open. Hey, Anna. Oh, it's you. What's going on here? It's none of your business. Okay, then. What do you want anyway? I was going to drop this evidence off to you, courtesy of the police. The police? You know what? You can march right back and tell them they can do their test themselves if they think they can play games with me. I guess that's a no, then. Some idiot complains they mess up my place and then turn around and ask for my help. Is that a joke? Bastards, a whole lot of them. What the heck are you still doing here? Go and tell them now. Sheesh, alright, I'm going. You better. Well, they upset her. Deciding not to meet anyone and investigate for the 10th time, being exceptionally good at doing nothing apparently is a skill too. It is! Thank you, game, for telling me that. I'm afraid that's not the case. I pulled the bandage back. What? Why? I'm not sure what's going on, but apparently the police raided Anna's lab, so she wasn't in a condition to accept it. Is that so strange? I hadn't heard about this. I'll have to talk to the others. Actions like that will stall the Reza case, and that's not something we can afford right now. I'll take care of the remaining tasks, so you can take the rest of the day off. I'm sure you have other things you can do other than helping us. Alright, we don't need to see all that again. We might as well. Skip that. Boo. Boo-doo-doo-boo. skip this. I have to go alone. How did I fuck up Anna's ending? Oh, wait a minute. This is all different because I don't have anyone coming to save me. Would you even get a generator? Wait a minute. Actually, I can. I opened the cloak I was wearing to reveal an improvised bomb I'd made from a generator. What is this? You showed me how to do it with the little trap you set at the farmhouse. That wasn't intended for you. It doesn't matter. You set it for someone. You set it to kill. Where'd you even get a generator? After the police reclaimed the generators you stole, it was easier for me to take one when I was alone in the department, just in case. I set the bomb on the ground between us. With it and me between Reza and the exit, he would have to listen now. So what's the plan? I'll tell you what's gonna happen. You leave the generator and turn yourself in. You know what? I think you're bluffing. If you set off the bomb, not only do we both die, but you destroy the generators as well, and with them any chance of saving either world. You would never do that. He pulled out his gun and pointed it at me as he slowly started closing the distance between us. What is it gonna be, Anna? Killing all of us, or just this world? Reza was right. In reality, the bomb provided no real evidence against him. If his goal was truly to save our city back home at any cost, he would not turn himself in. Even if the threat of setting off the bomb was a real one, his best chance would be to at least try to kill me now. I turned around and started running. No, I heard gunshots. Immediately I felt the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced resonate through my arm. As I kept sprinting as fast as I could, I heard a beeping sound that made me realize I had inadvertently activated the bomb when I was hit. Out of bullets, Reza was not far behind me as we both scrambled towards the exit. Just as I reached the outside, the bomb went off. The explosion battered my ears as the shockwave sent me flying. I collided with the ground and immediately felt a hail of debris. I cowered, waiting for it to die down. After a few seconds, I turned around and looked at the sky, with the fireworks still painted patterns in the stars. With one hand, I reached toward my injured arm, only to find it wet with blood from my bullet wound. My whole body was numb. But I could not give up now. I slowly got up, looking around the area to get some perspective of the situation. Not far from where I was, I saw Reza lying on the ground. He wasn't moving. As I got closer, I spotted the gun next to him. I wouldn't let him find this. I took it with me, hiding it in one of my pockets as I started making my way towards the portal with slow and uneasy steps. I was shaking and my vision was blurry. Every inch of movement felt like a new and harder chore than the last. Eventually my legs gave in and I collapsed to the ground. That was Reza. I resigned to my fate as I watched the night sky illuminated by the colourful explosions of the fireworks. Suddenly I was lifted off the ground, and as I opened my eyes I saw the masked face of the administrator. I just could not let it happen. I had to stop him. I had to try somehow. The administrator started moving, carrying me. Unfortunately, it seems like the generators were destroyed as well. So this is how it ends, with humanity doomed to fade into history and the dragons facing extinction. All hope is not lost. It never was. What are you going to do? I'm going to send you back in time. We'll just try again and maybe we'll do better next time. By now, we had arrived at the portal, and the administrator gently set me down before moving towards the portal's controls. You'll probably forget most of what happened. The teleportation tends to do that sometimes, especially when someone is transported several times in quick succession. Maybe you'll remember a thing or two, and maybe they'll help you do better next time. Maybe. I'll see you on the other side. I heard the sound of the portal starting to do its work as the numbness and pain suddenly left my body. Things I had experienced and things I hadn't flashed across my mind as I teleported. I felt free. So what the fuck went wrong with Anna's story then? Maybe I just really got shitty. We'll try it again. We'll skip through her first 2 dates. But I think I did them fine. My bag of crisps are breaking. I got this time. Maybe be happier to do experiments. So what did you have for tea today, Sean? And also, how's homeschooling going, Jeff? Yeah, skip ahead. I'm okay for the moment. This game is sad. I mean, it wasn't too sad that time. Nothing bad happened. I'm just over here trying to save the day, Jeff. I'm doing my best. Stay inside and call the police. What does a dancing dragon look like anyway? You might have found the answer in the seedier parts of town. Your town has seedy parts? Well, there's a lot of you haven't seen here. You know, when I heard that something happened at the facility, I thought it might have been you. Wait a minute, just let me quick save. Because it is. That's not much of a surprise, really. This is the Queen of Complaining. Go ahead and poke me if you need to. This is kind of right. This is kind of embarrassing. Yes. 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 No comment. Probably not. Yes, ma'am. No need to point out the obvious. How can you say that? Why don't you get them framed? You apologize. Wait a minute. What? What are you talking about? You're being rude to everyone. Sorry. You apologize. That's a new one. Oh, she apologized. Look at that, guys. I don't want to make any excuses, but with a high-pressure job like mine, I don't really get to go out and socialize much. Add some deteriorating circumstances to that, and you get my life. Don't you have any friends? Not really. If you keep skipping grades like I did, and are on the fast track in university, you won't really have the time to make or keep any friends either. I think the last time I had a real friend was more than a decade ago. What happened to that friend? Well... we went to the same class for a while. I ended up skipping a grade after that year. She found new friends, I didn't. We still met, but those visits became less and less frequent as time went on. I was around 10 years old when her parents prompted me to visit her. She was in the hospital, apparently had been for some time already. I didn't know because I hadn't seen her for quite a while at that point. She had contracted some sort of degenerative disease that caused her to gradually lose control of her muscles. Her case was particularly bad. She was already paralyzed from the neck down by the time I went to visit her. When I entered the room, I couldn't even pretend to be her friend. Lying in the bed was just a crude image of her former self. It was as if she was already dead. I couldn't bear to see her like that. It scared me. I didn't stay long. Seeing her like that was... I just told myself I never wanted to end up like her, dying slowly, painfully and alone.
I'm here to preach friends and eat biscotti. and I'm all out of biscotti.
Thanks for the 3 months, Matt. You're all out of biscotti. And that was the last time I saw her. She died a few weeks later. And that's why you become a scientist. Not really. I become a scientist because that's apparently what I'm good at. Doesn't make my work any less important, though. Just from what we did here today, we might make a few breakthroughs in several areas. Really? You are a completely different, yet stable evolutionary line. There are some things that are similar in our bodies, and others that are completely different. Anything that is different and works can tell us something new about biology. All the various species have their own challenges and diseases. It'll come in handy somewhere for sure. And you're doing all of that because of your pure and selfish heart. Not really, but if I do the brunt of the work, then I deserve to have my name on it. I guess so. I didn't say I see for a change. Well, I think that's it for the day. You can go if you like. I wouldn't mind staying for a bit longer. Really? Well, I want to study this picture some more, and I can't really have you around if I do anything serious. But maybe some other time. Really? Because you're so insistent, I might as well. Okay. You know how busy I am, but I can call you if you'd like. Sure. If I don't forget, that is. Well, I'll leave you to your work then. So it's so fucking easy to mess up her fucking story. Pineapple wine. Pineapple out wines. Yeah, skip. We'll save Bryce. I love Bryce. Do I take the bunch to the facility? Yeah. When I approached Anna's lab, I saw her sitting in the hallway, so this doesn't change. Oh, it's you. What's going on here? The police came and raided the place. What? Why? It's a long story, and I'm not going to tell it now. Is it bad? Oh, she's nicer to me. I don't know yet. I'm not sure how they expect me to work in these conditions, considering I get assignments from the council and the police. And then they both turn around and mess up the place as if it's part of their job. It doesn't make sense to me. Someone's going to hear about this, and there will be consequences, I can tell you that. In a thick daddy way. Punky. Don't do that to Kevin. Someone's gonna hear about this. Wait a minute, I've read that. Anyways, what did you want? I'm just here to drop this off to you, courtesy of the police. That's what I'm talking about. Mess up my place and ask for my help. Something isn't right here, and I'll get to the bottom of this. What is this anyway? I'm sorry, it's a bloody bandage for analysis. It's related to the Rezo investigation. Alright then, I'll take it. Not for the police department's sake, but for yours. For me. She's doing it for me. Don't let me hold you up. I'm sure you have places to be. We'll see you then. Yeah. I need to have a look at the side characters. See if there's a guide for the side characters as well. Yes, I want to skip that. I am not reading that again. An empty message. Let's check the next one. There's another long pause. I almost thought that something was wrong with the machine, but then I heard Anna's voice. Hey Anna, I'm not even sure why I'm calling about this, but it seems like you wanted to hang out last time, so call me back if you feel like it. If you don't want to, then, well, whatever. What was that all about? Let's go and hang out with Remy instead. No. Guess she's here. Hey Anna. Hey. Right, I've got to save it here. What's going on? You sounded pretty worried on the phone. Worried? If I was worried, it would mean I was afraid of something that might happen. But I'm way beyond that. Jeff, get your tissues ready if you're still in chat. Matt thinks Bryce sounds tasty. Bryce is tasty. It is not going to come to that as anyone's surprise that Bryce was my first dragon boyfriend. And it happened completely accidentally. As these things do. I know exactly what's going to happen to me. It's over. It's all over. What are you talking about? First they come to my lab, and now they went to my home too. Who did? The police. They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. I already know that they have all they need to convict me. I'm gonna die in prison. Why? It's because of those tests I did on you. You'll die in prison because you looked at my fingernail under the microscope. I'm a bit confused. Why don't you start from the beginning? Alright. Oh, everything in this game has been sad, Matt. But Anna's story is even worse, as you're about to find out, because even her happy ending is sad. And even though she's a right fucking cunt, it's just sad. Until we get, like, the true happy ending, I guess. This goes years back, and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant mind who had skipped years in school and was on the fast track for university with an incredibly lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the offers I had based on all my accomplishments. I was still in school and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelves that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them, I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I couldn't care less about what some old people thought about my work, as if I needed their approval. I was already more than any of them could have ever dreamed to be. It's a right cut to from the... Not you, Nanas. You're lovely Nanas. It's this dragon. This dragon is awful. We're talking about the dragon. We're talking about the dragon. The dragon is called Anna as well, unfortunately. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, I ended up contracting that very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been following health and safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I'll never know. But the reality was that I now had a disease that was treatable but not curable. Despite having helped an incredible amount of people with my work, I was now the one who needed help. Yet there was no one who could help me. Oh, you were sad because you said, "Oh, yeah, it's super sad." There is like a good ending, but that will be for tomorrow because I'm already fed up with Anna. I don't know if I'm going to go through with many others. We might do Lorem, because if I can get the good and bad ending by saving and going back to the save after I've completed it, then I can do the same with Lorem and it won't be too bad. But I don't really want to do Bryce and Adina, whatever she's called today. Despite having helped an incredible amount of people with my work, I was now the one who needed help. There was no one who could help me, no one but myself. I was already planning on working on a cure anyway, and what better reason could there ever be than doing it to save myself? I told no one about my affliction and set out to do what many others have failed to. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired just by waving my stashes around. I had free reign over my own lab. I could have even gotten assistants if I wanted to, but I knew they would only be liabilities. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat the disease, although the one that I chose to pursue was not exactly legal, not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always move slowly. Being pushed through the various boards and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was working against the clock. So while waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it eventually. How could they not, given that I was tackling an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but it was controversial. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I could cure thousands, if not millions, of future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my whole project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure would be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work I had already done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress I had made on the project, which they assumed had been within the legal bounds and didn't include the controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be a pretense, because I knew there were already rumours going around about what really went on in my lab. In the end, I had very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose of the most egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoing, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already proceeded, I was able to deny most of the accusations. Using the controversial method when it hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offence, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly, but the sentence was suspended due to their lack of evidence. With all I had done for them, they knew better than to take away my license, and I was able to continue work in other areas under the condition that it was within a council-owned facility. I see, so I assume that these tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for the suspended sentence. Exactly. Why don't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork would even get through, you'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would have been a process that the council would have to discuss with humanity. As such, there might have been another trade agreement and who knows what else. I just didn't have the time, quite frankly. I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test results would help you find a cure. And that's never gonna happen now. How did they find out so quickly? It's not been that long since I came to your lab. Do you plan on playing through Naomi's add-on after the true ending? There's an add-on? I didn't know that. Possibly. We're doing this today and tomorrow, and then next week we're doing Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, for Valentine's. I might come back to this game if I don't get a lot done tomorrow, because I'm doing board games with my friends tomorrow. So it's only going to be a short stream tomorrow. We might come back to it the week after or when we finish Tingle. It depends. But I didn't even know there was an add-on. Hell yeah, Tingle. Yes, I'm playing a card game with my friends. Two very similar card games. It wasn't just those tests, there was Reza too. But Reza told me he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for it, because that's not what I got from him. This is my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway of the facility after Reza's first visit, trying to find a stray hair or anything else I could use? Or that when I gave him the first generator, I didn't try to graze his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells? How did they find out about all this? It was him, my assistant, that piece of shit. Wow, she really doesn't like him. He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me, jealous of my success. He found out what I was doing with the stuff I could salvage from Reza. I didn't mind giving him what he wanted though, I just wanted to live. When he died and the police searched his apartment, they found all the evidence he had on me. And now everything is coming down. I will be punished to the full extent of the law, and I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted. Not that I'll care about that when I'm dead. Do you remember that childhood friend of mine I told you about? I never wanted to end up like her, but it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I have to die like she did, because I left her. I will spend my last days bedridden in a prison cell, and no one will visit me or care. Well, that's because you're a bitch. And you know what? With all that data I got from you, I might have actually found a cure. I don't want to cry in front of you. I don't want the attention or the pity. I don't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not going to cry now. I know about your cancer. You have cancer. How do you know that? Remy told me. What? Remy didn't tell me. Remy didn't tell me anything. He must have used his position to look into some confidential document. Why are we dobbing Remy in? He didn't say anything. That's not exactly legal either. What a hypocrite. Why don't they just throw him into prison as well and let us rot together, huh? All those filthy bureaucrats, you should have heard them. How they don't want to change the rules because our tradition is sacred and that's how we've survived all these years. Tradition now demands that I die. This is her happy ending, by the way. Telling Anna that you know about her cancer is the happy ending. But you know what? I'm not playing by their rules. Never have. Actually, why don't I line up all those who got me here and kill them? Because if I'm gonna die, why shouldn't I take them with me? I mean, I have nothing to lose if I'm gonna die anyway. Don't do that. Just give me one good reason. Because where I come from, we can cure cancer. You can? Are you saying that if I went back with you, if you smuggled me out, that you could cure me? We have the facilities. If we had the power from the generators we asked for, we could. Are you kidding me? Because if you are, I'll... No, it's the truth. Maybe we could work something out. I'm sure humanity would not object. Or maybe we could just give you the technology or the necessary method. We have already cured cancer, so there's no need for you to die. Why would you do that for me? You know I didn't care about you. I just wanted your blood, your data, just anything that would help me save myself. And that's exactly what I'm going to give you. Why? Nobody's ever cared about me. People... It's like a less worse ending than a worse ending. I'm guessing like the true, like the good ending. The humans and the dragons end up working together and she gets saved because they work together. I'm guessing that's the true ending. People were always willing to use my research, but I was just a machine to churn out results for them. That's what all the awards were for. I admit I was selfish, always. I did great things. At least that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after the whole affair back then and the suspended sentence, the rumours about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them. I guess just like you. The council, him, Remy, they were always sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me the manager position at the facility, that was just to distract me even more, giving me free reign over the lab so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their oh so important founding principles is how every individual is important. That's clearly not the case with me. At least they never showed it was. Now I can see how different you are. You're the only one who came to me willingly and without any ulterior motives. Or did you? You invited me. I just took that invitation. Just to use you. And you still came back for more. You let me do all those tests on you. Sure, you complained like a pro, but you sat it out for me. I did not complain. I was good. I sat there and was poked. She's lying about me. She's lying about me. I owed it to you. You don't owe me anything anymore, so what? Maybe I won't have to die after all. If you can cure me, I'll give you whatever you want. I know there's politics involved, and I know it may not ever happen, but this is my last straw, my last hope. I'll do what I can. Thank you. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. Do you need help cleaning up? No, I could pay someone to do it later. I just don't want to be there right now. Nice apartment you've got here, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but this isn't bad either. I guess the council treats you nicely, huh? Hey, it wasn't my decision. You're such a VIP, aren't you? I can't be that important if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that, when we went on our date, I assumed you were more the type of person who just lives in a hole in the ground. I'd live in a hole in the ground. And that's not what I said. I told you I could appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wild if I wanted to, though. Do you want to know what I did on my last vacation? I just started walking in a random direction. I spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. Hobbit hole, exactly, Matt. There must have been an adventure. I wouldn't be able to do that without tools. I would give you some tips if you'd like. I'm not sure if I'll ever need them, but I guess they could come in handy. Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything. Let's hear it then. Just be a dragon. Just be a dragon. Only tip you need, just be a dragon. Then you've got everything you need and don't have to rely on tools and other stupid stuff. Yeah, super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that? Not my problem. Actually, can you tell me about your advances in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen. My personal ones. I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting. It's a mammal thing. You'd be surprised, Matt. You'd be very surprised. I skipped the explanation of what they are, because I've already fucking read it once tonight. We could do so much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetic scrambling or hybrids of various different species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Why? Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about our creation myth, right? The one about a human creating you. Yeah, that one. It's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect images after which we were created. And what would those be? The belief is that each species was molded for a particular task or a particular role in our society. They were molded for war. Really? And I'm pretty sure I already know this. Some of them aren't even wrong. It suggests certain species should go into certain jobs because of the naturally high aptitude in those fields. Can you give example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be the flyer on duty unless you belong to a species that can fly. That much is a given. I was talking more about if there's any sort of discrimination, for example. You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species in their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance you know as Remy was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, a council's aide, particularly one who works in archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really expect a four-legged species to do that kind of job well. And he doesn't. It's really been a disaster. He's basically become the laughingstock of the whole town. When Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Amira, politics is a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that doesn't really fit that image. She wasn't like that in the beginning. It certainly caused people to remember her, though, and now that people know her, she's changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she's using it to gain popularity now, so she just likes the attention. I don't know why she does it, and frankly I don't care. You'd have to ask her yourself, but I doubt she'd tell you. I wouldn't expect honesty from someone like her. I don't like Amira either. She's a fucking cunt too. Politics always used to be so messy back home. Scandals, arguments, lies, they were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course there's always rumours. You can't really make people stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Why not? At some point it just gets tiring. People get loud and argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people would like here. If you're a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behaviour. That sounds like a nice change of pace. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements. Impreg lately. No. Amira is the bitch that is Remy's boss. I can't remember how much of this game you saw, Sean. You fucking disappear to talk to Cherry so often that I don't know what you're actually watching and what you're not watching. That's Adina, the one that wants to impregnate us, and I'm still determined is the one that killed everyone. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements and sweeping issues that should be talked about under the rug. What? Bad with name. You didn't remember the other There's 3 humans in this game, Sean, and you didn't remember the other important one. You know what? That doesn't jive with me. They like to preserve the fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't to conform because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. What kind of world do we live in where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I never held back. Now see where that got me. I bet some would argue that it would just be easier to conform then. The thing is, Matt, the other human has been in and out of the game the whole time, and Sean just said he saw most of it. He doesn't know there was another human. Like, that human is a big part of the whole story. So it's not so much he's bad with names, he just literally wasn't paying any attention. Pointing to the other human. No, he's a serial killer. After we finish this, I'll show you all the dragons we've managed to befriend. We've dated and befriended dragons left, right, and centre tonight. I can never do that, and besides, I don't want to. There's a thing called integrity, and if there's one thing this society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politicians sound like, maybe they aren't so bad. Sometimes I just want to walk up to some of ours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. What is the truth? I'm a scientist. Truth are facts that are empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. There's so many big words, guys. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I suppose if you ask different people, the definitions of truth would be very different. What's truth to you, then? Do I have to pick something else? I don't think I do. Oh yeah, you're gonna say I share your view, actually. I just won't stream as much, Punky, then I won't be on your TV when your cousin's over. There aren't nearly enough people like that around here. Pitch cut. Wow. Wow, only Jeff can call me a fucking bitch cunt. How dare you take Jeff's nickname for me? Like, Jeff is my seal. No one else is allowed to call him a seal. And if you all start calling him a seal, I'll have to call him a walrus. And then he'll be really angry at me for that. He didn't like being called a walrus the other day. You do seem like talking about this kind of stuff that... wait a minute. You do seem to like talking about this kind of stuff that I missed words out there. I'm not an ambassador for nothing, you know. You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures. You know, if you ask the wrong kind of person, these kinds of discussions could turn very ugly. I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking. Maybe you should be talking with someone in social studies then. Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear the people's voices themselves. Oh, and here comes the walrus himself. Okay, anything else you want to know? How much do you really like me? That's not the kind of question I was expecting. You called me when things went down, and you say you don't really know anyone else. So what? Is it that hard to admit that you like someone? You know me a little by now. You know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, you know I'm not that kind of material. Not even as a friend? You want to use emotionally laden words to describe our relationship. We've met a few times and that does it for you. This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know. You want me to tell you how I feel about you. Even if something happened between us, you know it's not made to last. You'll go back to your own world and I'll probably spend the next few years in prison. You wouldn't like the commitment anyway, would you? True, I wouldn't let something like that hold me back. People don't like me, and I don't like people. That's how it's always been. Sexy seal. Not sexy, you're a saxy seal. Let me spell it out for you. I know, you know, thinking isn't easy for you. It's spelled like this. Saxy seal. Right now, though, I'd have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least. Oh shit, she does sound like me. You got confused, Anna. I'm pretty sure you're the Saxy seal. Maybe the Warbling Walrus. Meme sax is stuck in my head now. That's something, I guess. And also, I can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you. Now you're talking. But enough about me. If you put up with me for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it? I don't hate you too. That's a me response as well. I guess we feel the same way then. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it worth it? If you say so. Is that a yes? Yes. She strode forward, reaching out with a quill before she hugged it into the neckline of my shirt. This is it, guys. We did it. Another successful dating attempt. What are you doing? Well, we have to take these off, don't we? We're in! We did it! No dragon dong, though. She doesn't have a dong, but we did it! Not like that. You ruined them. I'll do it. Alright. So fussy. We did it! Well, I mean, she's a lady, Sean. Boom, boom. See? I told you, see? Guys, I'm a genius. I called it. Anna talking to Annie. You know, not as big as of a bitch as I thought. That's a conversation I've never had with myself. Even more speaking. I'm sure people are fed up of hearing me read this stupid thing now. That must be her. She's not wearing lipstick like Remy. Sucks to be her. Hey Anna, looks like you're ready to go. I didn't think you'd want to go to a community event like this one. Anything could be fun with the right company. Without argument, we could just stay here. I haven't seen the fireworks in years. With all the crazy shit that's happened to me recently, maybe there'll be a reminder of better days. Better days? You don't usually talk about yourself like that. Your cousin is also wrong then. By the way, I wanted said again, even though she's not here, that Fictional confirmed that I'm not her favorite streamer anymore. Yeah? That's something that's happened and is being cemented in history with this VOD. It's because I just don't give a damn anymore. Who cares if you know that about me? Who cares if the entire town knows? I certainly don't. Lies. These days, I'm just trying to make the most of whatever is left. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We need to add what to the lore? What are we adding to the lore? What are we doing? Look, I've got let's go. What are we updating? What's going on? Dragons can have whatever they want to have. They want to have giant dragon dongs. They're allowed to have giant dragon dongs. Don't take that away from dragons. I mean, Don't do that. I think Fictional would be very upset if that happened. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. So much for the whole town being out to watch the fireworks. Yeah, I'm not going to those places. I'm kind of a celebrity, you know? Really? For better or worse, people know about me. Of course they would, given my intellectual status. Or maybe you just don't want to be seen with me. No, that's not it. Actually, that could be quite fun. It would only be another reason for people to be jealous of me. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly. Yeah, that's the same as ever. Yeah. And I think we need to go now. Really? The fireworks just started. I know where Reza is. We need to stop him. Speak for yourself. This isn't my responsibility. This is much bigger than you. Are you going to help me or not? Alright, just for you. What do you want me to do? Fight him? I'm not sure if that would be such a good idea. I want to try talking to him first. If you can buy some time, maybe I can get some help. That would be perfect. He'll be at the pool. Let's go. Let's go! Maybe I can. Here comes Maverick. Suddenly Maverick and Anna appear next to me. And if you missed it earlier, Maverick and Anna are exes. And it makes so much fucking sense. You planned this, didn't you, Anna? Traitor. And to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick. Just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you. He pulled out his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Just let me go and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Reza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Humanity. Suddenly the administrator comes out from the shop. I'm still reading things I've already read before. No, they belong to me. This is all the same. Oh! 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 Wait. She had blonde hair before. Her hair color's changed. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick started charging, so did Anna and I. Maverick was fast, pouncing on Reza before he had a chance to aim at any of us. He was knocked to the ground, and Maverick embedded his teeth into his body before him. Reza was screaming. He aimed at Maverick's head and frantically pulled the trigger twice. The jewels dislodged, and Reza aimed his gun in my direction. Out of nowhere, Anna tackled me, shoving us both out of the way just before Reza unloaded the weapon in our direction. Both of us were seemingly unharmed, and by the time Reza was reloading his gun, Anna was already up again and running towards him. Just as he raised his arm to aim at her, she jumped and collided with him, causing him to miss his target wildly. She was on top of him now, raising a hind leg before slitting his throat with one of the large claws at the end of it. Immediately he slumped. Blood gushed out from his wound as he helplessly squirmed on the ground, and horrible, distorted noises left his severed windpipe. After a few seconds, his movement stopped and Anna returned to me. Are you alright? Yeah. We went to check on the others, but both Maverick and the administrator were dead. Poor Maverick. I don't think Maverick's ever gonna survive. Her hair was blonde. In the weeks that followed, the dragons prepared for the comet. I, on the other hand, spent more time with Anna as she opened up about her condition. When the time came, the dragons executed their plan, and by utilizing the underground building's generators, the comet was ultimately diverted and never hit Earth. Even after they recovered and power was restored to the portal, I knew that I wouldn't be able to return to my own time, as the administrator, Izumi, had deleted the coordinates I needed to return home when she repaired the portal a while ago. While she had her own reasons for doing this, it meant that now my only options were to stay here or to use my portal and the coordinates she had entered to travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. However, I wasn't very concerned about this at the moment, as I spent my time in this world accompanying Anna on her journey. For her help in stopping Resis, she was awarded the highest honour the Council could bestow on her, citing her bravery and exceptional service to the community. As a result, the case against her was dropped and she was cleared of all charges. In the months that followed, I was with her during her cancer treatments and could only watch as her condition worsened by the day. By this point, she was living in a hospice and had become thin and weak as the disease had eroded her both physically and mentally. What did the doctor say? Who cares what the doctor says? I know he sugarcoats everything. It's not going to be long now, or else I wouldn't even be here. I'm not sure if there is any sensible way to ask this, but we're talking about less than a week. Besides, I'm the one who's dying here, not you. No reason for you to be so upset. She looked away from me as I saw tears welling up in her eyes. And to think that in your world you already had a cure for cancer. How pointlessly tragic. Yet here I am, being what I never wanted to become. But at least I'm not alone. A few days later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. The council held a funeral in her honour, which I didn't attend. Now that I had been with Anna until the end, I had a decision to make. I could either stay here, accept this outcome and all its consequences, or by using the portal and Izumi's coordinates, travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. This way, I could get the chance to try again. No doubt it would be a risk to relive this roller coaster of emotions. After all, I would have to go through all the events and the dangers again, but maybe it would be worth it. She didn't want to be bedridden and helpless. How many endings is that today? We got Remy's bad ending, Remy's good ending. And then we got another ending because I didn't do anything. And so this is like the fourth ending we've got today. $18 more to go tonight. No breaks. Here's ketchup, guys. This is the ketchup popsicle you were talking about earlier, was it? Yes. And Anna should be on the main menu. You've seen Anna's good ending. There she is. It's ketchup. It's ketchup. I mean, to be fair, she doesn't even have wings. And to be fair, they're not actually dragons, they're dinosaurs. Look at this furry boy. That's our true love, Drakbar. They're bioweapons that were created from dinosaurs. Kevin plays Dragon Hitman 3. They are bioweapons that were created out of dinosaurs. I admit I was selfish always. Yeah, I did great things. At least that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after the whole affair back then and the suspended sentence, the rumors about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them, I guess, just like you. Maybe I won't have to die alone after all. I don't know if I'll ever be able to be there. It doesn't matter. You've already done more than enough for me. I'll remember you when I die. Wow. I'll remember you when I die. That sounds like a threat. I'm guessing this is much the same. Well, it's complicated, and there's a part in the middle that explains. There's a couple bits in the middle that explain everything, and they're very long, and I'm not very good at reading, Matt. I'm struggling to read what I'm reading now. I'm not rereading them for you. There's a lot of technical babble, there's a lot of shit in there, there's a lot of made up stuff. It's a translated game, so the translation isn't very good. Feel sorry for poor Jeff and Fictional and Punky, who have had to sit there through... Like, I've been playing this game for like 6 hours today, and I played it for like 5 hours the other day. They've sat through all of that, listening to me badly read this game to them. Right, this is where it changes. Well, wasn't harmed. Anna was hit multiple times and fell into the ground. While I watched Rez's hand dive into his pocket for more ammo, Anna's harsh breathing filled my ears. Quickly, I dove behind the generator's box for cover and saw Anna opening her muzzle, spraying some liquid in Rez's direction. Read it. I can't read it again, Jeff. I can't read. Sean, you've already proved you've taken in 0 of this game. Reza looked at her in bewilderment before he suddenly burst into flames. He started flailing his arms around wildly, trying to put out the fire. But the flames didn't stop. He tried to get up, but failed as he fell once more and squirmed around the floor, shrieking in agony. A short time later, his body slumped and his cries stopped as he lay on the ground, motionless. I watched for a while as the flames continued, burning the now lifeless body. You wanna get it? It was a good game. You paid more attention to Danganronpa, Sean. I went over to Anna only to realize she was covered in blood from her bullet wounds. She was breathing heavily but was still alive. This looks bad. I have to do something to stop the bleeding. Don't bother. Based on where he got me, I'll be gone shit soon. Don't say that. I've done autopsies before. I know how this goes. No one can help me now. You jumped in front of me, Anna. Why? Why did you do it? I only had a few months left to live. If I was lucky, that is. Anything past that wouldn't even be life worth living. Would you want to spend your last days strapped to a hospital bed, slowly wasting away until nothing is left but a mere shell, a shadow of your former self? They can prolong my life, but they can't save me. But by doing this, I could save you, so I did. I know you have it in you to achieve and succeed at what you set out to do, even if I couldn't. Even if they'd have me rot and die in prison rather than finding a cure for myself and who knows how many others. Just make it count, Anna. Before I could answer, her head slumped. She was dead. Celebrating the report submission. You literally do one thing at uni and you start drinking. Jesus Christ. I feel I've just got a bunch of alcoholics in my chat. Before I could answer, her head slumped. She was dead. I looked around the room. The fire had stopped and it had become eerily quiet as I checked on the others. Well, I'm happy I never went to uni. Brent, you're a good boy. Oh my fucking god. Look at this! While I confirmed that Maverick and Reza were dead, I was glad to discover that the administrator was still alive. I found a first aid kit in one of the rooms and used it to dress her wound. After a bit of rest, she was able to get up and walk outside. I'm drunk too, looking for strippers and cocaine. What the fuck, Jeff? What are you planning to do now? I don't know, Izumi. What do you think we should do? We have to stop the comet after all. So you remember my name. What else do you remember? I know we can stop the comet, but I also want to help humanity. I'd be just like Reza if I didn't try, you know? Just helping one world and disregarding the suffering of the other. That's why I was asking for your plan. Sending generators now would be out of the question, since we'll need all we can gather in order to stop the comet. That is correct. Unfortunately, I also know that by the time we've stopped the comet, humanity will have given up on the portal and disconnected its power source, so we won't be able to help them afterwards. You remember well. The solution to this would be rather simple. We just need to let them know to wait a while longer while the dragons recover from expanding all their power sources to stop the comet. We could just send them a letter. I'm afraid that won't be possible. And why is that? After what happened during some of our other attempts, I decided to delete the coordinates to humanity's portal when I repaired this one a few days ago. But the portal has ways to locate other functional portals, right? We could re-establish the connection. Unfortunately, looking for other portals through time and space would be a significant energy expenditure that we can't afford right now, not if we want to stop the comet. I reject this outcome. If there is no way to send them help, I will go back to the day of my arrival and try again. That's why you put those coordinates in after all. I think Sean can't do anything or spell anything anyway. He's constantly talking shit in my DMs. No, that's not your call to make. Those coordinates were only to be used in emergencies or if we failed. As far as I'm concerned, we did fail. Look at this world and what they have achieved under my guidance. You want to jeopardize this for a chance, just a chance to save your city as well. I'm basically sobered up by now. It's what I came here for, Reza too, but he's dead now, so I'm the only one they have left to fight for their survival. I can't just leave them now. As nice as it would be, a life here would be a life built on the suffering of others. I wouldn't be able to live with myself knowing that I could have helped them, but didn't because I took the easy way out. As far as I'm concerned, this isn't over yet. You want to save those who sent Reza and his supporters. Is this really about humanity or about Anna? She sacrificed herself for you, not for you to undergo it all again. It is her sacrifice that makes it possible to save this world now. Is that not enough for you? No, I'm going. If that is your final decision, you leave me no other choice. Suddenly I saw her reaching for something in one of her pockets. When it parted to reveal Reza's gun, I quickly grabbed it and pointed it out of the way before Izumi pulled the trigger. My god, she tried to kill me now! In the ensuing scuffle, I managed to wrest it away from her and hit her in the face with its blunt end. She collapsed in pain as blood started to run down her cheek where the impact had opened a gash. As she squirmed on the ground, I turned to her before I took my leave. You know what? For all Reza has done, you sure don't seem that different from him when it comes down to it. Goodbye. With a flourish, we leave. As I made my way to the port to return to the day of my arrival, I thought about what had just happened and what I would do now. If anything, Izumi's actions had only strengthened my resolve to make things right, just right. After all, I had all the time in the world to try. I'm pretty sure you will probably die trying to be a Viking in modern warfare. Want to sail, then do something with sailing that doesn't involve you dying. You know, there's plenty of things you can do on a boat. Vikings didn't have guns. You wouldn't have seen that, Sean. That was a different ending. We were going for different endings. We're 5 down on 22 endings or something like that, apparently. I've seen her bad ending. The gun's there. Has the gun always been there? I can't remember. It's okay. It's okay. Let's do Lorem's endings, because I can do the same. The only difference with Lorem is you've got to give him the Ioxman Sphere? The fireworks? Search the pavilion 3 times for the Ioxman orb at Tatsu Park during the second investigation. Search the trash can for the base, the police archives during the third investigation. Allow him to assemble it and take it to the fireworks. If you don't take it to the fireworks, there you go, I've got everything I need to say and do. The second date is apparently a long one. Go treasure hunting with him. Dating him and not going results in him dying unless you already saw his good ending. Boo boo boo. Wouldn't better ending for Anna being shot. I would rather save someone I love than die of cancer slowly. I think she would as well. But I think the point is, your character wants to be able to bring the humans and the dragons together. So that, because the humans can cure cancer, or at least they can cure cancer in humans. Like, I don't think it really works that it would also then cure cancer for dragons. But I feel like the feeling is meant to be that the humans can cure cancer. So if our character can make everything work and get the humans and the dragons to work together, like if you can get like everyone to come together and you can save both worlds, then both worlds together will be able to save her because you've got the cure for cancer. You know what I mean? So like I feel like that's gonna be the true ending, is bringing the two together. What is the time, though? What is the time? Right, I'm gonna end the VOD here quickly. I'm gonna go onto my Be Right Back screen. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make some corn dogs to keep me going for the last 2 thingies. We'll get Lorem's endings tonight, and then we'll try, before I have to go offline tomorrow, to get Bryce's endings and Nadine's endings, and then hopefully we should be able to get just the evil and true endings. But yeah, so this is the end of this VOD, which has Remy's good ending, both of Anna's endings and the neutral ending all on it. And I'm gonna go make some food.